Hey everybody, here we are, Kids on Bikes live for episode 3, and I'm very excited. So should you be.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
I don't know if that was convincing or not, but you know what? I don't feel like I have to convince you because it's a foregone conclusion that this is an exciting show. Yeah, so why don't we get started? Scrum, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, excellent. Well, I think we need to first of all introduce our characters just a little bit, and also talk a little bit about what's happened. So why don't I get a quick snapshot from each of your characters to talk about how the events of the last day, 24 hours, have been for them. So give us the name, age, and sort of their impressions of the last day, and then hopefully from there we'll get a clearer picture as to what's happened. I'll fill in the cracks when you're all done. Let's start with Cassie.
Oh man, so yeah, I'm Cassie. I am playing Dahlia, an 11-year-old, very precocious and strangely knowledgeable child.
Strangely knowledgeable. I like that.
Yeah, it was for weaponry and other things.
Oh right, okay, that makes perfect sense.
Because her daddy taught her how to hunt and doing all sorts of stuff. So she knows stuff. It's been very stressful 24 hours.
I can imagine.
It's been very stressful. And because her best friend's mom was missing, and then the men in black came, and then we found out they really were like some weird aliens, and so now it's just like, and now they're at a uranium mine, and so there's most definitely monsters. And she has a crossbow with her because that way you don't have the recoil of a gun. It makes it easier for an 11-year-old to handle.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the recoil on a crossbow would be.
Surprisingly, not very much.
Not very much. Okay. All right. So as far as recaps go, we might have some confused people, but that's okay.
Anyway, don't worry.
Like I said, I'll fill in the blanks. Thanks, Cassie.
Yes.
Did you have anything more for Dahlia?
And now she's like feeling like she's gonna be in a lot of trouble.
She did leave her dad behind.
She left her dad behind, and they found the mom, but now she's definitely gonna be in trouble and probably grounded.
All right, Palmer.
Oh, hi. I'm gonna be Billy, and it's very nerve-wracking being Billy, especially since mom and dad were missing, and then weird men came to the house, and but we have a new friend. Her name's Amanda. She's very fun.
Oh yeah, Amanda.
What's up with Amanda and Zane? I don't know. But we found mom, and now we are in such big trouble. And we teleported. That was weird, but people have superpowers sometimes, I guess. So it's fine.
All right, and Bobby.
So I'm playing Zane, the elder of this group, as a 17-year-old high school senior. I thought that my day, I guess it's yesterday at this point, I thought my day had started and was going to be just a normal day. I was going to school, macking on the girl at the music store, just getting my school project done with Amanda, and then the news pops on and there's all this crazy plane crashing happening where my mom works at the airport and all this kind of weird stuff going on. And then the government people show up at the house and we have to get out of there, going through portals to escape because Amanda apparently is super powered. Zane is not having a great time. He's putting on a good show, I think, especially for his little brother Billy, and he's trying to be he's the older kid, right? He's trying to be the older kid. He's trying to be that person, but he's definitely like trying to. It's being a teenager stressful enough as it is,
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And and now this is all being added to it because when you're especially when you're a teenager, you're kind of sitting in this weird place in between childhood and adulthood, where you're still attached to those things that make you a child, like your parents. And so it's very stressful for Zane that his parents are up until now had no idea where they were at all. And all this weird stuff is happening, like weird clone government agents trying to hunt down my friends and family, and portals opening up, and all this kind of stuff. But we found Mom, so that's good.
Yes. Yeah, so the big thing that's happened is that you're missing your parents, and this has brought you to a couple of different places, and a couple of the key things you found out is, number one, that the investigators who are seem to be after Amanda, they are clones of each other, exact copies, and they appear to be some sort of avatar or something, because you can't take their clothes off, like their clothes are part of their body.
Yeah, that was
pretty
weird.
horrifying. Yeah.
That's when I knew we were dealing with something way beyond what.
It was fucked up. And also, since hiding out in a hardware store, you are well armed. You each have some sort of firearm or projectile weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. Bobby feels like this is a very bad idea.
Bobby is right.
that these children all have deadly weapons, but Zane is pretty. He thinks it's pretty cool.
To be fair, Billy did leave his airsoft in the car, so.
To be fair.
To be fair.
Yeah, so you ended up at the uranium mine where your dad works. I should say where Billy and Zane's dad works. Leaving Mr. Kenny, Dahlia's dad, behind. The four of you headed to the uranium mine where you found both your parents' cars, and you found evidence of some sort of break-in or destruction in your dad's office, and then you figured out your mom had somehow was still on the premises, it seemed like. So you followed her footprints, or somebody who had robbed your mom's car was on the premises. So you followed her footprints, and it was, in fact, your mother, who is injured, lying on the ground, and was very upset that Zane was not properly watching his younger brother. And that's where we left off last week. So yeah, and I think, I mean, the last bit to discuss is Amanda, because she, she's kind of the wild card in all of this. Unexpected person joining your group, and she heard over the radio, and you all heard this actually over the inspector's radio, this sound, and to her, this was a familiar sound, something that she hears every time she opens a portal. So, you may recall last week when we opened up our scene, we saw a man named Dr. Cohn who was doing some kind of research. He had some kind of strange machine that he was trying to do something to one of these inspectors, Inspector Grist. And at the end of our scene last week, they all kind of opened a crack in space and pushed their way through. And this week, we jump back to that moment and we follow one of the Grists through a crack in reality, where they've detected some kind of beacon that Amanda's use of her power has set off for them, and he's looking to find the source of this beacon. And as he goes through this crack, he transforms into a weird shapeless mass of purplish light, and he pops away from the crack with what sounds like a deep, otherworldly sigh, almost of relief. He's suspended in a world of pulsating energy, myriad color, veined with a web of bright, pulsing highways. He emerges out through this crack from what looks like some kind of spherical diorama and merges with a portion of this lit web. He pulses along this web, lighting it up as he goes, pausing to reach tendrils into various spheres. He finds one that, to us, somewhat vaguely resembles Middle Grape, or at very least something in northern Ontario. We see tall trees, deep snow, and he tugs his lit ball of a body away from this pulsing stream towards this weird spherical thing, and extends crackling pseudopods towards the shape, lighting up the world with a ghoulish purple. The limbs converge on a single spot, and another crack in the universe is exposed. As soon as it opens, terrified screams emerge from the crack, and the nose of a 737 pops through. We see the wide eyes of the pilots and the first-class passengers as they take in this weird world around them. The pulsing ball of light that is grist pushes alongside the plane, almost ignoring it, and pops through the crack, emerging in his human form into deep snow, slicing the plane in two between the two realities as his portal closes. Ignoring the 737, crushing trees around him, or at least half of a 737, Grist stands still and looks around like he's listening. He turns his head in the direction of the high school and then snaps back in the direction of the uranium mine. Perfect. He reaches up to his lapel and pinches it. 8 portals open, and more Grists pop into reality, following behind him, their faces bearing identical smirks. Now you 4 are seeing, wearing rad suits, all 4 of you have managed to find rad suits, and have headed into a second building on the uranium mine property. This is not where Mr. Bouchard works, not where Billy and Zane's dad works, but a secondary building where they do some of the actual processing of the uranium, or at least so it would appear. You found your mother, Barbara Bouchard, lying on the ground, clutching her the club from her car, and looking shocked and maybe a little angry to see you. She looks at Zane and then kind of looks at the other 3 back to Zane and says, I thought you were supposed to be watching your brother. What is going on?
Well,
as Zane is stumbling, Billy like runs over and he's like, Mom, weird guys came to our house and then they didn't want to stay out, and then he's like freaks out because she's hurt, and then he's like, okay, I'll do first aid, and he pulls out his medical his first aid and starts trying to do first aid on his mom.
Zane is a little taken aback by the sudden 180 from child panic to what do you call it, like emergency preparedness. You know? But I guess he's not that surprised. Like when he thinks about it, he's like, okay, this makes sense.
It's perfectly on brand. As soon as this crisis is over, panic can return.
Yeah. But like in the instant that Zane saw his mom, he like the normal reality of his childhood like sucked him back for a brief second. So that's why he's like stumbling. He's like, oh, I'm in trouble. But then I think when he sees Billy do that, he's gonna snap to and be like, what is What is going on?
Barbara kind of puts a hand on Billy's shoulder and says, "Sweetie, thank you, but I don't think you can really help me right now. I'm okay. But do you have any Tylenol or something in there?"
That would be a standard part of a tiny first aid kit, I think.
I
So
think
yeah.
so, yeah.
Mom, yeah. Yeah, here it is. Shake, shake. Hand over.
She looks at it with relief and pops a couple of them, and as you're kind of absorbing what's happening, her leg looks it's kind of sitting at a weird angle. It looks like she may have broken it. And she says, okay, all right. What is going on? There were people at her house? What are you talking about?
Mom, your leg.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
But I think your leg's broken.
I think you're probably right. But right now, we need to.
Is she wearing a radiation suit?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, yeah, it's not very well put on. Like, it looks like it maybe wouldn't actually stop all of the radiation.
Sure. Zane probably doesn't know any better though, so he's not gonna.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. And I think that at this point right now, Amanda is kind of hanging back.
Sure.
And for those of you who haven't seen us play this at all, the three PCs have collective control alongside me of the powered character who is Amanda. I mean, she's just kind of watching, keep looking around, making sure there's nobody there. Doesn't appear to be anything dangerous at the moment.
Okay, so so I think Amanda might be aware, like she might pick up on the fact that it looks like the suit is put on, it like maybe hastily or something like that.
Okay.
Do we want to roll to see if she notices anything like that, or do you want to just?
Yeah, sure. I think that'd be a brains roll.
Yeah.
And I think she's maybe the only one with the presence of mind to really.
Well, yeah, the Billy's the only other one with the smarts, and he's probably a little distracted right now.
I'm a little distracted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy does know how to set a broken bone, but it's a charged situation.
Yeah, knowing how to do it and actually being able to do it are two different things.
Yes, I imagine Billy has no experience and lots of enthusiasm.
Right. Lots of enthusiasm.
He took well, I took the first aid course at St. John's, and it was really good. But I mean, nobody's bones have been broken before.
I think too, your mother would be like, "No, you're not touching my leg."
She'd be nice about it though.
For sure. She wouldn't.
Thank you so much, sweetie. That's so helpful. But
you know what?
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna roll
a brains roll.
It's gonna say charm because I'm rolling the d20 on my sheet. But
Sure.
But yeah. Let's see. So 18 she got.
18. Yeah, I think with an 18, Amanda knows she put this suit on after she was injured, and she can tell that it's not like zipped or tied in the right places. I'm not sure how radiation suits work exactly, but it's not done up right. So yeah, she would be aware that this is not protecting anyone from radiation.
So I think she it's not really in her. She's an anxious person, Amanda, but it's not really in her nature to be timid. So I think she just cautiously like she's trying to find a moment to say it, but she says Zane's mom, Mrs. Bouchard, Zane's mom. How did you hurt yourself? Are you alone here?
No, I'm not alone. I'm okay. Well, don't think I've forgotten. I need to know what you're talking about with this house thing. But did you see me on the news?
Yeah, we got your notes, so we watched the news,
Okay.
and then and then
they knocked on our door.
yeah, and then
Okay.
it was
On
and
your
then
door.
I told Zane that they can't come in if they don't have a warrant to do that, and that we don't have to talk to them because you're not home. But
Yeah,
then
and
they
I
just came
didn't.
in
I
anyway.
tried to keep them out, but
And so in they so we they like he Billy's trying to like not say that they like beat up Zane and that then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
shoved their way
downstairs.
in. The house is pretty messed up, but I promise you, I tried to keep them out.
And so then we ran away.
Yeah.
And then
Okay. Okay. You got away from them. What did they look like? was it?
The inspector dude.
yeah, he was on.
one
He
that
was
I
he was on the
the
news.
same the one that I was that was interviewing me
Yeah.
he didn't
Yes.
interview me.
Or-
The one who was they had on the news. He was there after the plane crash.
Yeah,
Mhm,
that weird
one.
looking guy with the too well fitting suit.
Perfectly fitted suit.
Yeah.
Yes. I recall. A well-tailored suit. Okay, all right. Okay, well, I'm glad you got away. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about that. That's great. I'm glad you got away. That's good. I just don't know why you're here. How did you get here?
What happened to you, Mom?
We were
Okay.
we were trying to
One
find
ahead.
you.
Trying to find
Ixnay on the RK Ealing stay.
Okay. So Billy is like he's a good kid, right? So he's like, I can't. I was asked for explanations. I can't not explain. But also, there's a lot of crazy things that happen. Mom, and then so we ran away, and then we didn't have our boots, so we found these boots, and then we went to Dahlia's dad's house. But then he had to go to a meeting in town, and we still couldn't find you or Dad, and nobody was anywhere. So we decided to come to here because that was the last place that you the note it said that you and we're gonna be this way.
Zane's been Zane was listening intently the whole time, waiting to try to catch him before he says something that could incriminate them.
And then we stole a car, and also we have guns.
Yeah.
Billy does not have any guns. You'll notice.
Okay, so, okay, well, you shouldn't have come here. This is not a safe place. I felt very. The inspector that I spoke with briefly, he seemed very keen on coming here, and I didn't understand why exactly. And so I tried to call your dad, but I went home after the news came and left.
Yeah, Dad, where's Dad?
Exactly. I tried to call your dad because I wanted to warn him this guy was coming, but I couldn't get a hold of him. The phones were broken down.
Yeah, we tried to call too, and we noticed the same thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so I decided I would come down here because I needed to talk to him. I needed to make sure that everything was okay. That guy seemed a little shifty, and I knew you'd be fine. I thought you'd be fine at home. So I came in. His car was still there, but no one else was here. And usually, around 4:35 there or whatever time it was, there's everybody's here. But as I was driving up, everyone was driving past me. Everyone was leaving. So I came up, and Kathy, the lady, Jenny's mom, she's the one who is, she's the gate guard. Yeah. Anyway, so Jenny's mom, she let me in, and she looked like she was on her way out too, but I just kind of waved and went past her. And then I went to your dad's office, and that guy was there, and he looked like he was trying to, I don't know, he was mad about something, and your dad looked really scared, and I don't know if he saw me or what happened exactly, but he was standing over him, and he was he seemed upset. And I think that Dahlia, without a roll, you know for sure she's not telling you something. This is an adult where something really bad happened, and she's trying to protect the kids, because you've been there. People did that with your mom when she passed away, and you can sense it. You're like, no, that's not the whole story.
And this is their dad.
Yeah, so this guy, she said he was very angry at their dad, at Mr. Bouchard. And so she goes on and says, so I tried to stop him, but I fell down when I was trying to stop him, and I don't really remember what happened after that. But when I came to, I thought that everyone would be coming to work this morning, and my leg was hurt. So I waited for a bit, but nobody came. So I thought I'd go find your dad and see what was going on, because I can't really drive right now.
So they just left you here?
They did. I couldn't call anybody. The lines were still not working. So anyway, I tried to get in, and I'm not sure what they're doing in there, but I can't really get much further. And she kind of points to, like, behind her, there's a set of stairs. And this is an industrial building. You're in like a sort of a front room. It's got walls, but these stairs are basically, you can see structural supports along the side of it and in the ceiling, and it's sort of like that metal mesh that catwalks are made out of, and you can see up into sort of what looks like a hallway up there. And she says, I can't quite get up the stairs, so I wasn't able to find him. So I was hoping I could find some kind of a phone or something over here that was working. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now. It took me a while to get over here. And I think the other thing too that Dahlia you can pick up on is that she's definitely in pain.
Yeah, like got the sweats and the pale, like baby skin. Oh gosh.
Short breath, like just kind of brow furrowed. And I think, you know, when it's your parent, you don't always see it, like, because especially when you're young, it's they can handle anything. So you think something's off with your mom. Zane might get it a little bit, but for sure Dahlia's like,
Yeah, Dahlia's thinking, is her leg the only place where she's injured? Because she does not look good. Oh.
Mom, we need to...
She doesn't want to say anything because she doesn't want to upset Billy. She doesn't want to be like, uh-oh, Billy, your dad's dead. You know?
We need to...
Your dad's dead and your mom's dying.
We need to get you somewhere. You are not in a good way right now.
Yeah. We can help you get to the car, and then Zane can drive the car, and then you can go to the hospital.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Oh, but your dad, I'm worried about him. And she kind of looks to the side and says, I guess I can't really help him in this condition. You're right. Okay. Yes, yeah, that's a good idea. And she kind of goes to like almost stand up.
No.
And she's like, oh.
No.
Yeah, I think I'll lurch forward and try to catch her at that point. Look, we've got to find something. Amanda, is there like a chair or a cart or something around here? Like we've got to find something.
I'll look for him.
There should be Billy knows a lot of useless things like that. In an industrial setting like this, there should be one of those a backboard, basically, so that if someone falls and injures their neck, that they don't move.
Okay, yeah. A spinal board, yeah.
Spinal board, yeah. Like at the pool.
Yeah.
Industrial areas also have he has a little first aid kit. This building should have a big first aid kit. Maybe an infirmary room even. So, Mom, is there? Do you know is there like a medical room here close where we can go and get?
Yeah, she actually points at a little like closet that is opened and a bunch of supplies have been pulled out. And you see like ripped open. You see a spinal board and you see these ripped open supplies. And you see, well, what would this be?
Oh,
Need me to roll something?
Yeah, roll grit.
Oh, grit. I'm not too
oh
bad at
man.
that. All right. Got an 8.
Look
Alright,
at you go.
Yeah, you see around the place there's like spots of blood on the ground next to the supplies.
Okay. Oh yeah, guys, here it is. We can get Mom on this, and then maybe Zane and Amanda can help.
While Billy's over there and muttering to Dahlia or whoever's over there, Billy stays with his mom and leans in close to her and sort of like not quite a whisper, but he doesn't want anybody else to hear. He puts his hand on her shoulder or something, and says, "Mom, there's something really, really messed up going on."
She gives you like a knowing, kind of a knowing / not suspicious, but she's very curious. She says, "What? What do you mean?"
I don't know if you're going to believe me or not, but I'm just going to say it. I don't feel like we have a lot of time to mess around. That guy, that government guy, Grist, he's like monster. He says, but he's not laughing.
She looks at him very intently and says, "Honey, what do you mean?
Okay.
What did he do?"
Okay, so I feel like at this point it's a foregone. Like I'm not gonna keep saying it over and over again. Just from here on out, anything I say, just know that I'm prefacing it with "Don't get mad."
She like gets mad when you say that. She's like,
"Listen, we have
What
really
you do,
important
Zane?
things to talk about. We can't. No, that's not what I'm saying. There is a guy. This guy. First of all, there's more than one of them. Okay, or at least guys that look really, really. And I thought that was weird, but I was willing to accept that maybe there were like triplets that all went into government agent work for some weird reason. Anyway, but then, well, one of them was knocked out, and I was checking his pockets. He's like cautiously waiting to see if she's going to interrupt him at any point.
she does not, and stares at him very intently.
Yeah. And
She's giving you
when
the mom look.
while I was messing with his jacket and whatnot, his clothes are part of his body. Like it's like they're not just attached to his body; they are him. His clothes are his body. Okay, he's like it's like his skin is his clothes. I don't know how else to say it. It's really messed up.
So you couldn't move his clothes? They were attached.
Yeah, imagine that. My skin, this suit is my skin. Like his jacket, like there was no difference between that and his skin. It's like his skin. It's like he's naked, but he's not. Do you know?
Yeah.
And Billy drags over this spinal board at that point.
Yeah.
Guys, look, I got it.
And I think right now, like Zane sounds like he's getting pretty excited, and everybody's kind of hearing what he's saying as he explains. Is that
His voice is getting louder, and he's
starts
getting like a little higher pitched. You'd be like, yeah, they're aliens.
Yeah, maybe
Damn it.
government aliens. Maybe.
I don't know if aliens is the right word, but
Sorry. Okay, they're creatures from another dimension.
okay, maybe we go
when
with
that-
aliens or something. I don't
The
know.
one that
And,
Amanda can go through.
Oh god.
When Dahlia says that, she's like kind of looking at Dahlia and sort of like kind of nodding, and then when you say the ones Amanda can go through, Mrs. Bouchard goes, "I'm sorry, what?"
One thing at a time, guys. Okay.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, we haven't been introduced. And she looks at Amanda. I'm Mrs. Bouchard.
I think Amanda says, hi, I'm Amanda.
What's really going on here?
Untrusting.
Listen, Mom.
I don't like your tone, Zane.
You can't really do much about it with your leg right now, Mr.
That's not okay.
Dahlia.
Dahlia, I got this.
She's getting mad now. She's like,
Yeah. Look, okay.
She's the kind of mom who expects a lot of respect and does not take
Right.
shit,
Right.
even from Dahlia. So she's like, Dahlia. Okay,
Okay.
Zane, what were you gonna say?
Okay. I don't get mad. I said I wasn't going to say that over and over again. I'm sorry. This is my friend Amanda. We're friend. We know each other from school. She's in my class.
Okay.
She was there at the house when the government people came. All right. And
What?
she was there when they broke in and they were going to get us, and in a not so peaceful way. They were being very aggressive. And she don't look, you don't have to get so mad at me, all right? Billy pushed one of them down the stairs.
No,
All right.
he didn't push him down. He drop kicked him down the stairs. It was
What?
great.
Oh my gosh! What did
Well,
you?
Zane. I mean, they beat up Zane, and he was young. He was like lying on the.
Zane?
No, okay,
I mean,
okay.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, we thought he was dead.
Oh my gosh!
So then,
And
then I guess I was.
Stop!
and
Stop! Be quiet. And as you all quiet down, you hear that noise, that same noise that was coming from the radio, is coming down this hallway and down these stairs, and Amanda goes just absolutely sheet white.
I
and
think
you see,
Zane
like,
at
a
this point,
flash of purple light.
yeah, Zane kind of, without thinking about it, kind of instinctively grabs. He's very protective, you know. He's got that protective instinct. He grabs Amanda's hand because he knows he remembers the sound, and he remembers the last time he heard this sound, and he remembers that Amanda got very upset and scared.
Yes. And Amanda, her first, like, you see her first impulse, she kind of like jerks away, and then as the sound continues, like, grabs onto your arm with both hands, and you hear her rad visor is like fogging up a little because she's hyperventilating.
Should we run away? I mean,
I think you need to get out of here. Take the car. Don't worry about me. Just go.
Mom, we can't. Have you heard that noise before?
Dahlia has her crossbow. She's loading, and she's like got the figure out. She's loading
Dahlia,
up.
what is that?
Mom, focus.
Billy.
Have you heard this noise before? This is really important.
Yes, I have. It's been coming from the processing center, and I heard it when I confronted the inspector as well. So, yes. Why is that important?
Where's the noise coming from? Is it coming from all around us?
It's coming from down like the stairs up to this hallway that she pointed at. It's coming from down there, and you see like you see flashing purple lights as well.
All right. When we heard it on the radio, what was the context of that? Remind me. Was it?
So the inspector that you had knocked out had a radio on him, and it was
that's right.
It was making this sound.
So I think that Zane remembers that. He makes the connection of these inspectors, plural, and that's when he says, Billy, no, he goes into action mode again, right? And he like whips his backpack out in front of him, and he opens the backpack and pulls out the gun, and he says, Billy, get Mom on the backboard now.
Zane, I swear to God.
Listen, Mom.
There's no.
Don't worry, I'll cover you.
and Billy's like trying to like get her onto the board, like just sort of, just Mom, just scoot.
They
Just
could,
go-
yeah.
don't-
Trained agents.
You're
You
really
cannot.
you're really hurt. You can't. Don't.
And she like as she moves, she's like grimacing and grunting, and through this like family squabble, Amanda starts heading towards the stairs.
Whoa, no, where are you going?
Amanda, where are you going? We are getting out of here.
No, I'm checking it out. I have to see what's going on.
Ugh.
They took my dad too, 6 weeks ago, and I haven't seen him since. And Mrs. Bouchard gives her kind of a look, and she says, I need to get him back. I don't know if I don't know what's going on, but somehow these assholes of these jerks have they know where he is. I know they know.
Zane has a sudden moment of Zane debonair. And he says, well, you're not going alone.
She gives you a bit of a weird look, like talk like you're in a movie. But she's not really processing. And Mrs. Bouchard is like, if you think that you are, like, she's like starting to, she almost looks like
Says,
she's
Mom,
gonna fall over.
talk to the hand. And he walks away.
Zane, David, Bouchard, you get back here this instant.
Last
look at your
thing,
brother.
as he's getting towards like the end, maybe just out of sight, he turns around, kind of barely over his shoulder, and he's like, going to find Dad.
All right, Billy has like got his mom onto this board, and he can't like use it right by himself, so he's like gonna lift up like one end and like try to drag it with her on it, like to get out to the car. I feel as though brawn is appropriate for this.
Yes, I agree. Your brawn's okay.
I've got a D.
Is it just you doing this?
I will let Dahlia decide what she's doing.
Well, they're being really stupid.
You say that?
Yeah, I was like, you're being really stupid right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
why are you not listening? Oh. Maybe they'll
Billy's
listen to
like
you,
trying to drag her up. Dahlia, you go help. I'll help Mom. And
she's like looking at her best friend, and she's looking at like Zay, and she's looking at Billy. She's looking at Zay. No, I'm gonna help you. We'll get her out to the car. We'll just leave her in the car, and then we can get them. It'll be fine.
Just leave me in the car. She's so mad. She's like, you've seen your mom mad before, but she is like, God help you if she could walk.
we wouldn't be in this predicament if she could. It would be one of those situations where she's doing the thing and we're like, all four of us are hiding behind her.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not
So-
that's not the world we're living in.
No. Oh gosh. So yeah, So she's going to like take the bolt out of the crossbow because they don't need it right now, and then she's gonna help like pick up the thing and see if she can help move his mom.
Okay, go ahead and roll brawn for me.
Okay.
All right, I got a 5.
I got a 6.
Not bad, 6. Okay. She's heavy. She's a full-grown woman, and you're both 11.
Yeah.
But you're relatively strong for 11-year-olds.
Dahlia has a brawn of D10. That's a pretty brawny 11-year-old.
Dahlia knows what's up. So it's a struggle through the snow. And with these clumsy rad suits.
Yeah, it's like Miss Bouchard, you are really heavy.
Well,
Dahlia, that's not nice. Don't say that.
Sorry.
thanks, Dahlia. You shouldn't be the one carrying me. And she kind of glares after Zane's retreating back and says, "But thank you for your help. I will deal with your brother later."
But Billy's like processing, and he's just like, "Well, Mom, would you rather that me and Dahlia go and do the more dangerous thing?"
No, you are all children. None of you should be going in there. And so she goes on like a little bit of a rant as you're carrying her out to the car.
We
and
distracted her.
Brings up like
Yeah.
she brings up all these times. And Zane, do you remember the time he blah 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 and starts going on and
Oh, look, here's the car.
yeah, it gets to the car.
I think we definitely approach her car from the side where the
there's not-
stolen car isn't.
Yep.
Okay, yes, I see. Okay. I don't think she super notices. By the time you get her to the car, she is out of breath. She is very pale and sweaty. It's cold, but not freezing cold. But she is clearly in a lot of pain, and whatever the Tylenol she took did not seem to take any of the edge off. I think, yeah, Dahlia, you've got alarm bells ringing. You're like, she's badly hurt. And Billy, you just feel a little bit scared, like any kid would to see their parent.
And don't forget, Dahlia, you know she's lying about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have to get her. We sort of get her in the back seat, lying down, and then we gotta elevate the legs, and because of shock, and then
And she, like, you elevate her her left leg, but as when you touch her right leg, she says, "No, don't leave it."
Okay.
Okay, and what else? I don't know. I don't know what else you need in this situation. The thing I'm considering, because Billy has the trait well prepared, so that I can spend 2 adversity tokens to just happen to have the thing I need right now in my backpack. And I happen to have 2 adversity tokens, but I don't know what I actually need out of character.
And I feel like even in character, you'd be like, kind of at a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that maybe this is not the thing that you can like do.
No, probably not. But you know what I do have? I have this granola bar. You didn't get any breakfast or anything, I guess.
Thank you, sweetie.
It's a little smushed. I'm sorry.
She takes it. She doesn't open it and holds it kind of next to her chest and says, "Thank you, honey. I just need to." And she's looking a little woozy. I just need to rest for a minute, and then I can try to. And then and she's sort of getting like a little bit delirious. Just let me close my eyes.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, you should probably go check on Zane and make sure that they aren't dying. And I will make sure that she gets some water and stuff. It'll be
No, don't
Just
go.
go peek in the door.
It's not safe. It's not safe.
Yeah, that is not. Yeah, I think Billy's just like, yeah, that's a good idea, and he's like leaves before she's like slowly trying to object. She's like, yeah, okay, bye. um, and they run.
He just doesn't
Like
want to
runs.
hear her
He
scold him.
he literally, little kids just run everywhere, so he just runs.
Yeah, you're like high stepping it through the snow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's
gotta find Zane and Amanda.
that's the word. I don't like. She's not delirious, but she's fading.
Yeah, yeah.
You can
She
see
is.
that
She
she
is
is in
going-
very bad shape, Dahlia.
So,
Yeah,
so
she's in shock.
Dahlia's gotten like has pretty much she's thrown down her backpack. She's thrown down put down the crossbow, and she's like got into the car, and she's like got Miss Bouchard's head like in her lap, and she's like trying to like keep her head propped up and like finding the last juice box that she took from the that she took from the Bouchard's house.
the Fruitopia.
The Fruitopia.
Fruitopia.
After Zane had said that he was specifically saving that for him later, but she took it anyway. And and so she's like, Miss Bouchard, you need to stay awake. Don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes.
Dahlia, that man hurt me. I can't let him hurt them. And she says, "Don't, Billy." She's like, "I'm fine here. I'm fine. Can you just start the car so I'm not so cold?"
I'll start the car. I just stay there. Keep your eyes open. Drink this. And she like jams the straw, like she's just like right through it. It's like, all right, drink this, and she'll like stick it into her mouth if she's not doing it.
Yeah,
Like-
she is drinking. She's like not eating that granola bar, but she's having a couple of sips here.
And so she's gonna like just gently set her down, and then go run around and then turn the car on, and then come back around, and then like resume her position. Be like, okay, car's on, heater's on. Everything's gonna be okay, Miss Bouchard. And then, but like, she's saying it and she's not believing it.
Right.
It's like one of the like, yeah,
Dahlia, where's your dad?
he's in town right now.
Does he know where you are?
No,
Dahlia.
it happened so fast, Miss Bouchard. What happened? I know you are keeping something from him, and I know that you think that Billy's not strong enough to hear bad things, but he is.
She's not used to straight talk from a 12-year-old, 11-year-old. Even Dahlia.
Right? Normally Dahlia's like the very like on their best behavior when she's at the house. Like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I think she's very like, I can see that for sure. And does Dahlia have any attachment to Mrs. Bouchard?
I think that like, Mrs. Bouchard, it's not necessarily that she's like a surrogate mom.
No.
But like she treated her like as a person and not as a baby. after her mom died, and so like she and she knows how much like she means to Billy, and Zane like looks up at her, look, and it tries like everything that he can to make sure that she's happy and stuff, so she knows how important that having a mom is, and she's really scared.
Mrs. Bouchard looks at Dahlia and she says, "Oh, I guess I could never pull one past you." She seems a little calmer. She's not as mad at you as she is at her sons. But she says, it looked like he hit their dad or something. I'm not sure what he did to him. I've never seen my husband look so scared.
Did did you see where he was hurt? Did he take him? Like, was he conscious when he do you
Well,
think he's still alive?
she looks at you really hard at that point. She says, he was okay when I saw them. But I grabbed a fire extinguisher and I tried to creep up behind and smack that guy on the head. But he felt me coming, saw me I don't know what happened.
He's an alien, Miss Bouchard.
He's something. Because he didn't even spin around. He just sort of made this motion and the extinguisher just disappeared in my hand. Just like that plane disappeared, Dahlia. Half of it is gone. And I don't know where it came from, but it was this bright purple flash and half of it was gone. They didn't show it on the news. I heard them talking about it. They were too afraid that it would freak people out. But when I threw that fire extinguisher at him, he caught it in this, it made it disappear into some sort of purple light. And then he turned around and broke my leg. And I went unconscious, and I don't know what he did with Gerard. So that's why I was trying to find him. I have no idea.
So, like, Dahlia's, like, you know, like, thinking, like, this is not, like, everything is falling apart in her little mind right now. Like, you know, because, so she's trying to figure out what to do next, what to say next, and, you know, and is that, okay, here's what we're gonna do, Miss Bouchard. I'm gonna turn the radio on, and you're gonna be singing along to every song that comes on the radio until we get back, okay?
You're right. I shouldn't close my eyes. And she kind of like, sort of props herself up a little bit on her elbows, and she says, "Oh, I can't believe I'm gonna ask this. Do you have that crossbow still?"
Yes, ma'am.
Do not let those boys do anything stupid. Okay, Dahlia?
Yes, ma'am.
If you get hurt, it's my fault.
No, ma'am. It's our fault, because we were being stupid kids.
You're
Trying
a smart
to be
girl, Dahlia.
heroes. Anyway, all right.
She, like, grabs onto Dahlia's shoulder and she says, "Dahlia, you are very strong. If anyone can help them, you can. I would be in there if I could. Promise me this, if there's a sign of major trouble, that you will get everybody out. Tell them to run for the car, okay?"
Dahlia's nodding very quickly, and yes, ma'am. I'll get everyone out. I promise.
She kind of leans back and says, Okay.
And then starts singing Ace of Base.
Just please don't die.
Dahlia, I am not going to die. I have a badly broken leg.
Okay.
And it doesn't hurt very much anymore. That's probably a bad sign. But right now, my leg is fine. I will get to a hospital and I'll be okay.
Okay.
Got it, sweetie?
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, you can see she's struggling with some adult emotion that is not totally, you know, it's not really clear what she's handling, but she's kind of closing her eyes, taking deep breaths, and she says, okay. All right. I need you to do one more thing, Dahlia.
Yes, ma'am.
in the glove compartment. Can you open it up?
Yes. And so she's gonna make sure that she's got the open in the glove compartment. She's turned on the radio, and now she's kind of turning the volume up a little bit. And she's like,
and you see in there is like a black box. She tells you to hand her the box. And she pops it open, and inside is a flare gun. She's got a flare gun and a flare. She says, I'll hang on to this. I don't know how useful it'll be, but okay.
if something happens out here, you shoot it. Or if you feel like you can't stay awake anymore, you shoot it.
I'll be awake. I'll stay awake.
Okay.
She sips the fruit juice.
Good. And eat your candy bar.
She kind of looks nauseated and says, I'll try.
And so Dahlia's like, she pumps herself up, she grabs her backpack, and then she picks up her crossbow, and then she realizes that the BB gun is still in the other car that they stole. And so she goes over to the car and grabs it too, and just
And then Mrs. Bouchard sees another gun.
sees another gun.
Like,
Did you take the gun with you, Zane?
Yeah, Zane. Well, Zane already has whipped out the handgun that he has.
those action hero quotes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
and
man.
I don't think Mrs. Bouchard is really noticing.
No.
She is.
Dahlia's
doing-
going the long way
Yeah,
around to
yeah.
try to make sure she doesn't see the other stuff. So yeah, and then she's gonna run up to find Billy.
Okay, well let's jump in with Amanda and Zane before Billy and Dahlia leave with Mrs. Bouchard and see what they're up to in this hallway.
All right. So yeah, Zane would have after he gave his I'm gonna go save Dad. I'm gonna go find Dad. He goes up, once he's out of sight, then he lets down his tough guy demeanor and quickly runs up to catch her.
So she's creeping up the stairs, and she just turns the corner as you catch up with her, and you see a long, maybe not long, but I don't know, maybe 30 feet long hallway.
Mhm.
It's big, but this building is huge.
Sure.
And it's got electric lights along the roof, and they're sort of dimming and not flickering, but sort of they pulse darker than lighter, then darker than lighter. And you see about 30 feet from where you are, you see a T intersection. You can go either left or right, and you also see at that T intersection, it's sort of like a railway open, and you see that sort of purplish reflection on the ceiling. It looks like there's some large room at the end of this hallway.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so I put my hand on Amanda's shoulder to stop her, and I say, do you feel anything? He doesn't know how to
What?
can you
That was good timing.
I know.
She looks up at Zane and and she says, yes.
Oh, okay.
So?
Good. Zane's surprised that the answer is yes. He says,
She's kind of she's like, I'm scared.
I think Zane for the first time is starting to let fear creep in onto his face as well. The young kids are behind, and it's just him and a peer of his, So he's still, I don't know. He's starting to look a little bit unsure now as well. He's like, can you tell which way to go?
No, not really. I think we just need to see what's over there. And she grabs Zane's hand.
He looks down and says, yeah, okay. So we'll go together then.
She nods. Can you make a flight roll for me?
Yeah, for sure. Zane's pretty good at flight. He's got a D12 in flight. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, a 2.
Oh,
A
geez.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, jeez.
So you start walking down this hallway.
I hate it. By the way, I hate it. I hate it when you're asked to make a roll and then you roll bad and then you don't get to find out what the result of your roll is right away. That's
well, how about this?
that's
Go ahead
unnerving.
and take an adversity token. How about that?
right.
Does that satisfy your demands?
Well, I guess it relieves some of the suspense.
So you are walking along this space and down this hallway, and you get maybe about halfway to the T intersection. I imagine you're going fairly slow, trying to be quiet, and you both don't see a toolbox. Somebody just left their tools lying around.
Okay.
And you kick like a hammer down off the side of this like catwalk. It's kind of you can see underneath. There's sort of like a crawl space underneath, and it goes ding dong dong dong.
Oh,
And I do that thing where you've kicked it and you immediately realize the terrible thing that you've done. There's this loud noise, and I do that thing where I like lift that foot up and I'm like hopping on the other leg and I go, ah, shit.
And I think this kind of destabilizes Amanda. She sort of like falls into the railing and makes a clanging noise as well. She also rolled very, very badly. So at that moment, like that purple light, it flashes a little bit brighter, and you hear footsteps on the end of the T intersection. You hear it coming down from the T intersection.
Is there anything to hide behind? Or is it just pretty much a straight shot?
I think that these tools were probably in a little nook. Somebody's
Okay.
working on something on the wall. Like there's sort of an access point for maybe electrical work or something, and that's what these tools were left there for. So there's a small, shallow indent where you could duck behind if you wanted to.
So Zane would definitely grab Amanda and push her into that and go back in there himself, getting in front of her, but like ducking behind the corner, like putting himself up against the wall, and he's got his gun.
His gun. Okay, roll flight again.
Okay. Got an 11 that time.
All right, no adversity tokens for you. So
Bittersweet.
Oh no, this is you. You narrate it.
Okay, yeah. So, excuse me. So I grabbed Amanda and I whisked her into the thing, put her in there, and then like I said, I went up with her right there, and I've got like one arm on her, and we're behind there, and I've got my arm like almost like a parent putting their arm in front of a child as they brake hard in the car, He's like blocking her and like protectively, and he's got his gun, and he looks back and he goes with the gun, because he's only got one hand. He goes,
and she kind of looks at you and like reaches ahead, takes the gun, and just pulls it out a little bit.
For a second, like he realizes that like he's actually got a gun in his hand. And he goes,
You know what's great about this is it specifically says in the rule book that like kids don't have access to guns and other weaponry.
This is rural Ontario.
Yeah. Well, he like I think like in that moment he sees it and he's like, "Huh." So he nods, and he puts it down on the ground, and then he kind of like inches forward, and then he turns back again and like in case she didn't realize what he was doing, he goes, "Shh."
She pulls out the rifle that she took from the hardware store, and nods.
I think Zane's a little impressed and maybe a little enamored.
She's got a very determined look in her eyes.
Right.
I think this is the moment when Billy re-enters the warehouse. What's his first action?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Billy's first. Zane! Zane and Amanda, where are you? And then he starts going up the stairs at the way a child does, by being totally sneaky and quiet.
2 at a time.
Yeah. Well, at that sound,
clank,
Zane's
clank, clank.
Zane's immediately alert, and so he looks. He's still trying to stay behind the wall, but he's not being as careful as he was before because he knows he needs to see right now what those footsteps are, like where they are, what the status of the situation is, and he sticks his head out from the corner, not trying to be as careful to see what exactly is up the hallway.
So you simultaneously, the brothers see Grist thumping his way down, and when your heads poke out when Billy runs up the stairs, he kind of stops and cocks his head. He does this weird motion, like he's running, but he almost sort of floats towards you, like he looks like he's trying to pretend he's running, but you can tell he's not really actually using his legs to power himself.
Oh, creepy.
I hate this so much.
What's Zane doing with the gun right now?
He put it on the ground, like on the floor, like he almost had like a horrible, like a horrid reaction at like, I've got a gun. Oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing with a gun. So he put it down on the ground.
This is a good choice. Yeah, he does this weird run float thing, and he's gonna reach down to pick up the gun.
Oh my gosh.
Kick him in the face.
So he's like yeah, I think he tries to push him away. He doesn't like he tries to push him away. Yeah.
Okay. So that is a fight roll.
Ugh. I'm not terrible at fight, but all right.
This spreadsheet, please hold.
Would you say that Zane's protectiveness qualifies here?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. Zane is, for those watching, Zane's has a strength. One of his strengths is he's very protective of his friends and family, and it gives me a +3 to any roles in which he's acting to be protective. And I got an 11.
11. Oh, that's good. You rolled an 8. Yeah, because I rolled max, but you beat me. So yeah. How do you prevent him from getting the gun?
I think he sees him reaching down and he pushes him back to kind of like instinctively like no. So he pushes him back and then like he punches him, but he's not like aiming for anything in particular. So I think he like hits him in like like in other words, he doesn't do like Zane's not in super action mode anymore because he's a little bit more afraid. So he just punches him, probably hits him in like the arm or the shoulder or somewhere around here, you know. You're just like you know.
Yeah, so he falls over up against the railing of this. And you see him look up at you, and then he looks behind you, and and he gets this weird, unnatural, like too big smirk on his face, and he reaches for his lapel.
No!
I'm gonna yell, where is my dad?
He doesn't appear to be damaged by your hit, although you did subdue him briefly. There's no blood, there's no nothing. And even as your hand connects with him, it's sort of this weird, like, vibrating feeling in your hand. And Billy, you see 3 more of them come from the end of the hallway. And I think this is the moment when Dahlia gets in to the warehouse.
Oh gosh.
And I think the guy is going. Zane just demanded, "Where's my dad?" I think that Billy is all into that like mode right now. Like he sees these other guys coming from behind, right? Like, or are they?
They're beyond. Yeah, they're not behind you.
beyond.
They're in front
Okay.
of you. They're beyond Zane, Amanda, and the first Christ.
Okay. Billy, one of his prized possession is in his backpack. And being that he is currently without the BB gun that he left in the car and Dahlia currently has, he pulls out his prized possession, which is an ancient North American native hand axe stone, and he just runs at this guy saying, "Where's my dad?" And he's gonna try and hit the guy with this hand axe.
Oh my gosh! Okay, roll your
Nice.
roll your fight.
And yeah, it's gonna be bad. Let's see what I do with a D4. 2. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, I rolled a 1. So...
Oh my gosh.
So
Dang.
I think so that means I guess I get to narrate this.
You do.
I don't know anything about these creatures, but you contradict me if I say something
Perfect.
that's canonically incorrect. So he comes running at him with this hand axe, which is, if anybody's seen them, it's sort of like a hand grip thing with a spike, basically. So he just runs at this guy with this stone spike, essentially, and just swings it as hard as he can, which is pretty hard. He's not very skillful, so he's very clumsy. Just swings it, and this spike just penetrates right into this guy's side, just like that deep. And I will let you tell me what the effect of that is.
So this stone axe buries into his side, and then it starts to glow, like this bluish white glow, and he
Billy drops it at that, like stone
totally,
at that point.
yeah. He's totally focused on Amanda right now. He's staring at her, and he doesn't, like, you hit him, and he kind of, this is the first time you've ever actually managed to seem to cause damage, and he kind of goes this weird sort of breath, and then he sort of, like, veins of purple light go across him, and he dissolves into just nothing. Like, he just turns into floating motes of light and then disappears, and you see the other 3 beyond you. And Dahlia, the first thing you see when you get in this door is Billy saying, "Ah!" and taking out his axe. Where's my dad?
and then his reaction is, "Zane, I did it! Amanda, I did it!" And then he's just like, he immediately goes to, like, see if he can get his hand axe back, because it's his prized
Yeah, it kind of clatters onto the ground. And it's big enough not to fall through the grate.
and he's not, and now he's distracted for whatever these 3 guys are gonna do.
Okay. What does Dahlia do before we go back to Zane and Amanda? And let me know too if you have anything for Amanda.
I have one of the powers that she has on my list that I want to use at some point, but it hasn't seemed to come up as far as I can tell.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
I was if this guy's lapel thing had happened, I think it would have, but we'll see. Anyway, go ahead.
Dahlia.
Gosh. So, she just saw her best friend kill one of the aliens, and now she's super stoked. Like,
She is pumped.
they can be killed, and my best friend just killed one. And then in the back of her mind, she's just like, I can't let him beat me.
Right.
yeah. He's more badass than me. That's like part of your identity that he
Right?
is less badass than you.
Like he already kicked the crap out of the inspector when I missed, and like and so I'm just like I gotta catch up. So-
Oh boy.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So she dashes up the stairs, and as she gets to the top, she she realizes that there's 3 more, and then she's just like,
Oh gosh.
so she's like, "Good job, Billy." She raises the crossbow, and then she just at one of them.
So you realize Billy's like in the way, right?
No, well, is there a way to like get?
I guess you could.
No,
I
side-
feel like Dahlia's probably a
side.
pretty good shot. I'll
Okay.
let that one slide.
All right. Because I mean, I'm not gonna shoot Billy. Like I'm going up the stairs and I'm going to like see if I can take a shot. I think she would take a shot.
Okay, so this is fight. I wonder if I should roll flight or brawn because this is a different.
I
I'll
don't know.
roll flight for this one. So go ahead and roll fight.
Ooh. Okay. Can I use my cool under pressure? In this.
Yeah,
particular
that absolutely
moment?
applies. Yeah.
Okay. Ah, 6. Okay.
A
Not
6.
great.
Yeah, you managed to hit one of them.
Oh crap.
How does this look?
Woo. So, yeah. So she takes up and she just kind of like, in the moment, she's like going through in her head, take the aim, but like, get the shoulder, turn it up, and so it's like she's like cycling through all of this practice, but she's still really surprised when she hits because she was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna shoot at a person, and then she remembers,
Right.
no, they're aliens, it's fine.
Yeah, so you hit one of them and he kind of, they're doing that weird run glide thing.
Yeah.
And he sort of stumbles over the bolt that you hit him with and kind of goes hands and knees, so you've delayed him a little bit. The other two keep running. Zane. Go ahead, Dahlia.
I think what I would like to kind of like duck is the space where Zane and Amanda are hiding big enough for me to just kind of like duck through and drag
Yeah,
Billy?
I'd say it's like there's like a hallway and there's 2 kind of outcroppings right across from each other. So you and Billy can go on one and the other 2 are there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab Billy and we're gonna like go and hide behind the other one. He's like,
Did you see?
that was amazing. You have like a magic axe. It just made him disappear.
So Zane saw that, right? And
Yeah.
he like jumped and he sees what happened. He sees that there's 2 left at the end. And I think he comes out from the hallway and he's looking around and he looks at Billy and he says, "Billy, the axe!" And he puts his hand up.
Oh, how bad am I at throwing? Bad. Let's do it.
Yes.
Right.
Billy
We're also
tosses
like
it.
right next to each other.
Toss.
Yeah. So
All right.
so he grabs it.
I wanna, yeah.
Roll me that fight.
Fight is so bad. What? Oh, I closed my character guy. Hold on.
Dun, 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 dun,
Ooh,
dun.
3. Yeah.
That's
pretty
not
good.
a bad roll on a D4, and you start to. I think that this is now clear that these guys, they hit hard, but they go down easy.
Yeah, that's what
because
Zane's
you
thinking
hit.
exactly. Yeah.
You hit. Wait, who rolled that? Wait, wasn't Zane? Oh, you're
but
throwing it to.
I was
to...
He was
I just wanted
throwing
to
that. He
check
wanted to
it.
see if he totally flubbed the toss.
Okay, no, it's sort of awkward, but it works.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got confused. Okay, Zane, you're gonna throw.
Yeah. So Zane is not throwing the axe. He's charging now.
Okay.
He's like, ah!
What are
Okay,
you
I gotta roll
doing?
the die then. All right, roll your fight.
All right.
Zane's better at fight than me.
Yeah. Okay,
Not
so
based on these results, though.
yeah, yeah. So remind me. I know I can do something with adversity tokens, but I'm gonna roll first, and then you're gonna remind me what I can do.
Ah, okay.
Or I mean, you can remind me now, but I'm still gonna.
You just add one for every token you spend, but you can do it after you see your
My
number,
roll,
not your
but
result, your number.
before yours. Okay.
And I think that if you spend one like before you roll, you can take like half the dice.
If it's a planned
I think-
action.
Of
Yeah,
his plan.
which this is
Say that
definitely
this
not.
is planned.
right.
But it's definitely protective, so I'm gonna give myself a extra 3
for it.
here, and then
That has really done you well.
yeah. I got a 5. Let me think. I have 3 adversity. I'm not real thrilled about that.
I mean,
All right, I'm gonna use all 3 of them. I fail a lot. I'll get more.
All right. Okay.
okay, for it.
So that would make that an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 6, so you succeed.
All right. So I think so Zane was just like willy-nilly going at them, and he was gonna try to like hit them or push them or do something. So I think he hits one of them, definitely, and he sort of like takes inspiration from Billy, but he jams it like right into the chest. Like he's not so comfortable as Dahlia that he was willing to pick up the gun. Okay, because like he's still like. I don't know, something clicked in him, and he was like, I shouldn't be doing this. There are children here, and I'm one of them. But he does understand now that there's something like very inhuman about these things, and so he doesn't have quite as much reservation about plunging it right into the chest of one of the 2 of them.
Oh, the Bouchard brothers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We are hardcore.
We're turning the Bouchards into a warrior clan.
The axe begins to glow, and the grist dissolves into motes of light. So now there's one still running. There's one on their hands and knees, and the one running just goes right past Zane.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Amanda, like seeing Zane like launch himself out to the point like where she couldn't see him anymore. She's like, thinking like this guy is trying to be a big damn hero and he has no idea what he's up against. So, like, I think that she definitely. So she has an aspect of that I have here that sees self as superior.
Ah, yes. A little bit arrogant. Amanda.
Yeah, and I think that she's just like she sees herself as like not necessarily I would say like more knowledgeable, and gosh, I want to say that she could just like open up a portal and then close it around that guy that's running past. I don't know if that would be a cool thing to do.
I had a similar thought, so I think it's very cool.
I was
go for
kind
it.
of angling for something similar to that as well. So.
Go for it.
Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah.
So basically she wants to catch him in a portal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you'll spend 1 psychic energy token, brings her down to
Okay.
4 to do that, and then you're gonna roll 2d4.
Alright.
Based on that result, we will see how many more you have to spend to make it work.
Okay, ready, guys? Oh,
6.
not so bad.
6.
Yeah.
Very nice. So she's like she does this with ease. Go ahead and narrate her action, getting him to run into another portal.
Yeah. So she runs out, like runs after Zane, sees that Zane has like skewered one of the Inspector Grists, and not to be outdone by this dude and his magic axe. She's got magic hands. So she she does this like swirl of like she doesn't even bother like charging up like her hand how we've seen her do before. She literally just like does a circle like right as this dude is like charging
Doctor
towards
Strange style.
Yeah,
just
Doctor
Doctor
Strange, that's
Strange
exactly
style
what I
and
was
just
thinking.
and then like it comes to life with like such like the circle just boom, beautiful, perfect, and then the dude just runs right into it and she closes it.
So it snaps closed behind him, and you hear through the thumping and grunting and yelling, this you hear the sound, that noise, that groaning, otherworldly sound as it opens up and swallows the inspector. And I think Zane is the only one who could see this happening because he's going in this direction. You see, as he goes through, he sort of turns into this, like he turns into that purple ball, and then it closes right after. And you're not super paying attention to the one on the floor. You're kind of absorbed with all this action. Your adrenaline is pumping, and you're feeling like, oh my god, we got this guy. This is it. We're gonna get him. And I think only Billy is the one who sees. He raises up his hand, and as he raises up his hand, there's sort of a glow right next to your face, and you see
Billy or
right next to
Zane?
Billy's face, and
Okay.
and you look over and you see Amanda. She's got her hands out, she's just made up this portal, and you see there's like purple light swirling around her, and as this swirls around her, you hear that sound more and more and more, and she's like enveloped. It looks like spider webs wrapping her in a cocoon, and she looks at you and she says, help, and it wraps into this bright purple egg kind of shape, and then you hear this sort of like whoom, and she like disappears into a pinprick of light, and you can see down the hallway this pinprick of light reappears, and you see that glowing egg you saw at the end of the hallway. You see it floating above the railing in the large room that's at the end of the hallway. And the Grist that's injured stands up and he's not even bothering running anymore. He stands up, turns around, and floats towards the purple orb that was Amanda 2 minutes ago. And I think we'll take our break right there.
Ah!
What?
Perfect.
Ah!
Oh, snap.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys kicked their butts a lot more than I thought you would.
That's a lot more than we thought we would.
Yeah, I think we're
honestly.
all surprised.
I just
Yeah.
halfway expected the dude to just like put his hand out and swallow the arrow into like nothingness. So I was just like, oh man.
That was definitely part of the plan I had, Cassie. If I had rolled really well, I was gonna try to see if I could get away with like hitting both of the guys and like knocking them back, and then Amanda opening a portal right behind them and like doing a combo almost.
I love it. I love it.
I didn't feel like I rolled well enough to justify that, but I'm glad that we both were thinking the same thing. So.
Nice. Good.
All right.
Well,
so I guess we're gonna
5
take
minutes?
we're gonna take a quick 5-minute break and we'll be back.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere, guys. We have to.
We have to save Amanda.
Yeah.
We have to save Amanda.
It's very clearly you don't want to miss what's gonna happen next. So we'll be back in 5 minutes and sit right there. See you in a minute. 5 minutes.
Bye.
Hey, everybody, we are back from our break and to continue our episode 3 of Kids on Bikes. Amanda has just been put into a void cocoon or whatever it is. So,
maybe she's just gonna turn into a beautiful butterfly.
a void butterfly.
Void butterfly.
With
Yeah, that makes sense.
tentacles.
I don't like that at all.
What a great ending. Turns
Yeah.
out she's Kerrigan.
Oh gosh.
Turns out we all are members of the Zerg swarm now.
Bow down to Amanda, your queen.
Oh
Yeah, so Amanda has been captured in a dramatic moment when you've taken down three of these things. These purple tendrils wrap around her and capture her in this cocoon that sort of winks out of existence and pops into view at the end of the hallway. And the final remaining Grist that has been chasing you glides his way away from it and sort of kind of launches off this railinged the end of the T intersection where there's a railing. Let's talk about what Amanda sees.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
So Amanda is suspended, and she sees bright light is coursing through her from what looks like sort of a spherical diorama through her up what she assumes is up, but away towards this pulsating black ball. She has this sense of fear, certainly, but also she has a new sense of power. I'm gonna reveal what her final aspect.
Oh.
That when she's in this dimension, when she's outside of our 4 dimensions, she can move around, kind of wherever she likes. That
So
doesn't cost
powerful.
any psychic energy points.
Gosh.
But she can pick where and when she returns on this diorama. So what she sees is it's events from throughout her life. This is her timeline that she can see before her.
Oh my gosh.
And she sees all of these different things that have happened to her throughout her life. Her time coming into Middle Grape, her dad getting hurt the first time, and then at the present moment, it's very hard to navigate because it splits across this sphere into endless, infinite numbers of streams, infinite possibilities. So the future's not definitely not clear. But she can pick where and when she wants to return. Two things that become clear to Amanda at this moment. This white light going through her, she knows that she is somehow transferring energy from our world to theirs, this black ball that she can see. And she can feel the energy that she's moving, and she knows there's a limit, and that if she, whatever energy she's pulling from the earth right now, if she runs out, she's going to start expanding, and it's going to consume absolutely everything. And she also is very aware that this portal that she's opening, she's a that Grist can come back through this conduit that she's opened up. So I think that's probably it for now that you find out from Amanda. That Amanda finds out for herself.
Yeah.
And then, we're gonna go back to the other kids in the hallway.
Gosh.
So wait, can we back up just a second? I'm
Yeah.
unclear on something. So she opened some sort of some sort of rift while she's inside this cocoon.
The cocoon is a rift, like it is
right.
yeah, it's like a passageway. between worlds.
Okay,
and
okay.
So she can see this energy coming from her world to the other world. Somehow she's helping to transfer this energy. She's holding open.
And she
some sort
doesn't
of
know
portal.
how, she doesn't know why, she doesn't know what's going on. She just feels that it's happening.
Yeah. And so the new power that she has is that she can pick when and where she returns on her timeline. And I'm going to give this aspect to Cassie, since she doesn't have any supernatural aspects yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
but she
man.
also has the option here to close this portal. She could close it off and seal herself away. She's also her own ticket back. She's a conduit between the two worlds. She can get back to her own, or she can close it off so that the entire world is not destroyed by this siphoning of energy.
Oh, geez.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well,
Oh.
Zane is protective, and a flaw that he has is that he's hot-tempered, and those are not a good combination.
They are not mutually exclusive, I think we can fairly say.
Yeah. And I think they've found their overlap in this moment right now. And so, because it's like instantaneously he feels like something very important to him has just been taken. You know, like more so than he's ever realized before. And so he's instant, like he sees that happen, and that was a moment of dread, like where he sees that she was, you know, like popped out of existence, I guess. But when he sees that happens down the hall, he's still with the axe in his hand. I guess he hasn't given it back. He just he starts running, like, again. It worked the first time, so he's gonna start running towards the room. He doesn't have anybody to attack right now because there's nobody like on the ground. But he's trying to get there quickly.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I think
That-
that Billy would just be like immediately going after him, only not shouting or attacking, just like sticking together.
Oh my goodness. Dahlia's like, Billy, wait! And she's getting like the next bolt loaded into her crossbow. She's,
Come
she's just
on.
like,
We have to save Amanda. Come on.
I know!
There's
what do you think I'm doing?
There's right now a chain reaction of juvenilely bad decisions happening.
Yeah. like it worked the first time.
That's everybody's thought.
next
It worked
bolt
the first
It's gonna be fine.
Should be fine. It'll be totally fine.
Yeah, so
I like it.
So yeah, she gets another bolt loaded in, and then she's like, "Gosh, what are we gonna, Billy? What are we gonna do?"
So, did you guys run up yet, Billy and Dahlia?
We're like, we've like rounded the corner, and now we can like where she's at, and Zane's just kind of shouting a lot, and
Awesome. Okay, so you run up to this T intersection, and there's a railing right there, and you can see this massive room, and you see mine carts on tracks that are emptied, kind of at the far end. And there's kind of a little door where they would have come through, and then the most notable thing you see, of course, Amanda's little cocoon, bright purple cocoon, and leading up to her, you see thick ropes of purple black portals that are winding and twisting. They come from this kind of squat machine that's sitting down on the floor, and these ropes are going throughout the whole warehouse, and they look like they're going through piles of crushed rock. And they come together in a massive column and culminate at Amanda's portal. You see, like, there's a swell of bright purple and pulsating color, and you can see that this machine down there is being held behind sort of a shimmering translucent barrier, where you see a man in a rad suit who is adjusting wires. He's moving things around, and as he adjusts these wires, you see the ropes of energy are moving around as he adjusts them. And you see multiple Grists. There's a whole bunch more Inspector Grists that are kind of floating, hovering, moving around, and they're moving these rocks, this uranium ore from place to place to place. And you look to your left. So there's like a short hallway here and a short hallway here, catwalk kind of thing. On your right, you can go down the stairs. On your left, you see a control room, and in there is your dad, Mr. Bouchard, wearing his rad suit, and he's doing something with the controls.
Zane sees all the Grists and knows that probably he can't kill all of them. So he gets there and he goes, and he sees his dad and he goes, Dad! That's where he's going now. He's trying to get there. Is there like a path there, or is he gonna have to like go through a jumping puzzle?
No, there's a path. Yeah, so you like there's a path and just a door. He's behind it's like a glassed-in room that's sort of raised up above, so he can kind of watch. And you see him touching switches, pulling levers. And it doesn't appear that he hears you from outside.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we open the door? Is it locked? Because I know a lock picker.
Yeah, it is locked. Yes.
Like, Billy, we need to get in there so you can save your dad.
Yeah, while all that's going on, Zane's just banging on the windows. Dad!
And I think that's enough. Like he kind of turns around and looks, and you see he's got like a swollen kind of one half of his face is sort of like bleeding and swollen.
Oh my gosh.
And he looks at you both and his eyes widen, and then he kind of looks around down at the Grists on the floor, and they don't appear. They're moving quite frenetically and very fast. They don't appear to really notice you at the moment.
Okay.
So he rushes to the door and opens it up.
Just before we get into that conversation, when we came in, we could see where where the Amanda egg was. We could see that from when we came in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And I just so that I'm clear on this, it's like down below us. There's stairs that go down to an area below us, and there's what to my mind is clearly a radiation-powered portal machine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha. Perfect. Okay.
Dad, what's going on? Dad, we gotta get out of here.
He opens up the door, and he says, "What are you doing here? Get in!
We are not gonna have this conversation."
Just explain it to Mom.
So he grabs Billy and Dahlia, and pulls them both into the room and closes the door, and says, "What is going on? What are you doing? Who are these people? My friend."
Zane, calm down. Okay, all right.
Billy hugs his dad really quick, and then goes and is looking out the window over at everything, so that somebody's watching what's happening. While his big brother explains everything.
Yeah,
again.
right.
Yeah, so there's a little a little bit some information exchange, a little bit at least.
Yeah, just a little bit through Zane's frustrated protestations, we just don't have time for this.
You are just all up, your quick temper.
I'm hot tempered and everything, and I've already had to go through this rigmarole with Mom. And
I have time to explain myself. So yeah, he says, okay, calm down. We're gonna get out of this. I don't know exactly how, but he has your mother apparently, and
Mom's in the car outside.
What?
Yeah, just move past it. What are we gonna do next?
Yeah, we already did that.
Don't like your tone, Zane.
I don't have time. Punish me later.
He kind of looks at you, and your mom's the disciplinarian. You never get anything from your dad. He's just okay, fine. So this guy showed up. He told me he needed me to he needed as much ore as I could find. I don't know what he needed it for. He told me he had your mother. He told me that and she came in and tried to hit him, and then he. Anyway, he threatened me. He threatened you. He threatened her. So I came. I tried to help. I didn't understand what he was doing. But he brought this guy with him, and he points down to the man on the floor who's kind of working this machine, and he's we didn't really talk to each other, but he asked me to bring carts up of ore. So I've been trying to. I mean, that's kind of it. There's no miners here. It's not like we can get more, but at this point, this is what we got. So I don't know what he's planning to do. And as he's talking, he's kind of turned to you, and Dahlia, you see. One of the grists goes and stands below where Amanda's egg is, and he starts. The guy on the controls is like doing all these crazy switches, and he starts to blur, and he starts to twitch, and he as you're watching, he starts to separate from himself a second grist, and he pulls, and they're like blah 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 blah. I think Billy sees this too because you're like shorter, right?
he
You're
was-
kind of.
Dahlia's
he was
grip
watching.
his shirt, like his shoulder, and she's like,
Okay. Okay. And then he's like doing sign talk, and like basically Billy is trying to sign to Dahlia that while they're doing this useless talking, that we have to go deal with this ourselves. So we try to. I try to sneak out of the room and bring Dahlia with me.
yes.
Okay. You know what? Let's roll flight because your dad is probably
this is so
very aware
Oh
of
my
what
gosh,
you're
I have
doing.
the
More
worst.
slide is so bad.
Mine is too. Oh wait,
Yikes.
but I get a +1 because I'm a kid, right?
What would I do for noticing
yeah.
this kind of thing? Yeah, you get a +1. Yeah, a +1.
Yeah, kids just
Would
are
this
always
be
doing
brains for noticing you?
I suppose
not.
perhaps.
Sure.
I feel like- It's hard to say. I'll use brains.
Okay.
Thankfully, Gerard is not the brainiest adult around. Oh, but maybe brainier than that.
Yeah,
Ooh,
2.
let's
Both
see.
of us got
Let's see
2s.
here. No, I'll should I take some adversity tokens instead of spending?
Oh.
What do you do?
Yeah, no, I think we'll take whatever the results of this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so take some adversity tokens. Each
to
take a adversity token.
remind the stream, every time that I would gain 1 token, I gain 2 because I'm just so easygoing.
Ah, yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Good one.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's come up. So I collect them very fast, but I keep not failing.
You do. You have gotten very lucky.
But
He
now I've got 4.
in like mid-sentence with Zane, he stands to block the door and says, "What do you think you're doing? It's not safe out there."
We have to save Amanda, and they're making another one, and it's really
They're stretching it apart and making 2 people.
He
Ah!
looks out and he sees it, and Zane sees it at the same time. It's like the transformation's almost complete, and you see a second grist comes out, and they kind of make this like this deep sort of guttural, like a
Oh my
sort of cry
God.
of victory.
I'm gonna hurl.
It's super gross.
Ugh. I feel what is it, 90s? He would say, dude.
Dude.
All right. See, Dad, that is why we have to stop talking about this. This is a problem.
They're
Who's that?
aliens
Okay.
from
They've
another
also
dimension, and they're going to take
got-
over the.
Yeah, sure.
Wait, who's Amanda?
Amanda is our friend, and she's stuck in that glowing cocoon, and I would like to also see if we can help her because she's a good person.
Okay. So
Also, I'd like to ask her out on a date.
What?
Okay. Well, let's process that later.
I like open mouth, like, oh my gosh, at Billy, like this.
Zane's like, why did I say that? This is not the time.
He's 17. It's always the time.
So Mr. Bouchard kind of like snaps out of sort of a reverie. I think maybe your dad is a little bit of a head in the clouds kind of guy.
Sure.
And he's obviously like having trouble focusing even in this situation. So he says, yeah, okay, well, that guy down there, he can control everything. He's got the machine can. I don't know how it works, but he's controlling it. If we can get to him, maybe we can do something.
What is the machine doing?
And he kind of points down, and you see the switch. This guy's pressing switches. These conduits keep moving and shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And he's behind sort of this translucent barrier. He's sort of protected him and his machine.
Quick side question. Dahlia has a crossbow. Is there any reaction to that?
I don't think he even notices, actually.
Yeah, probably not. I
just wanted to get that out there now. Yeah.
Like if Zane came home drunk and Dad was there, he'd be like, "Oh, phew." But if Mom was there, he'd be like, "Oh shit." So like he knows. Dad won't notice, but Mom will.
Right.
So yeah, totally. He's not even really. He's like so scattered and not paying attention.
Yeah, it's
He also has a head injury.
It's why Zane is being much more like forceful and with him. You know, like he was much more apologetic and worried about Mom, but right now it's like he probably walks all over his dad.
I think so. I think personality-wise, his dad's more like Billy, and the mom's more like Zane.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh, this is great. So he says, "Okay, I don't know how to get through these guys though. Can you distract them or something? We can run up and get the guy with the machine."
Oh, pick up the axe. Oh, we got this.
Billy's like just looks at Dahlia's crossbow.
It's just like shrugs. Like I mean.
At this point, Zane's totally disregarding that it's Billy's axe. He has taken possession.
His literal prized possession.
Just like you took my tape, my Rage Against the Machine tape.
Sounds like
Hey,
Who
This is
currently
Big
has
Brother
that,
on-
by the way? Who has the Rage Against the Machine tape?
I believe Amanda does.
yeah.
Amanda does.
It is. It is in Zane's Walkman with Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda. Okay. So maybe let's go back to Amanda actually for a minute. And she sees she's kind of zooming around this sphere, looking at different parts of her life. I have a thought for an event that to narrate, but I wanted to give you guys first dibs. What kind of things does she see that have happened in her life that she's revisiting as she's outside of time and space?
Oh, geez. I think probably the first thing, as she's noticing that these are moments from her past, she's probably first seeing happy memories, and maybe some less like important moments in her life. But they're, I think at first they're generally pleasant. You know, like moments when she was out, she was at school in Toronto, and maybe at like a coffee shop or at like her first concert maybe that she went to, and then it probably
Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
She's snuck
Yeah. So it's like, like a time she went out, like it was a blast. She snuck out and went out with some friends, and then she's kind of almost like momentarily, pleasantly distracted by all this, sort of forgets where she is or what's going on, but maybe then she sees some moments. She notices some moments, still pleasant moments, but moments of that she shared between her and her father, which kind of start to bring her back to reality as much as she can be brought back to reality in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely, like, you know, the regrets that, like, happen, like the things that she didn't say, or the hurtful things that she did say to her parents and to, you know, to her dad. You know, if she I don't know if she has siblings, but, you know, the moments where, like, even, you know, as an adult 30 years on, you're like, why did I do that? Why did, you know, but except she gets to, like, be in that moment again, which I think makes it even worse.
Yeah, I imagine that there's this like slow transition from like seeing all these happy memories and then like a few flashes like of those like, wow, that was a stupid thing to say, and then like other just weird awkward things like that time at the grade 8 graduation dance where where her date tried to make out and she was had to
like,
kick him in the chin.
Yeah.
And it's like and then it goes and then it's like that awkward like tension feeling just sort of leads into more and more negative feelings
yeah.
as it reliving more negative experiences as the non-existent seconds pass.
And she sees these streams of time, like possibilities of what could have been, and it's too much for her to fully process. She goes down maybe a couple of roads to see, like, oh, what if I did go out with that guy? What if I did let him kiss me? What if whatever? Things that a 15-year-old girl would really care about in that moment. But she also does have that urgency in the back of her mind, and so she moves forward, and she starts to see that, you know, various streams of her time would end if she lets this continue, if she lets this siphoning of energy, that there's a couple of paths where she can come back and prevent it. It's not so much seeing the future as like finding a point in time that makes sense. It's not, you can see maybe snapshots and sort of like a sketch of the future, but I think she can see very clearly that as time unfolds for you, the one thing that will really take care of this is Billy's axe. The one thing in her timeline that can help her fix things is Billy's axe.
Nice.
Wow.
So with that, let's transition back to us sneaking around trying to get down to this machine. Your dad, Mr. Bouchard, he points to the stairs and says, "You can go down that way, but there's another way too. There's on the other side, right outside his control tower, there's a hatch that you can lift up. It has a ladder that goes down. So you have two options. Seems like the ladder is a little bit more obscured than the stairs to head down to try to get to this machine."
All right. Well, that's where I'm going. Billy. Dahlia.
Yes.
I need you, Dahlia. I'm trying to think out of character. What's good? Like, I'm trying to imagine the situation. So I don't think Zane wants them all to go with him because it's like a ladder. Like, they'd be going single file up into this. So it's a ladder that goes up into this, like you said, like a little control tower where he's pressing buttons and stuff.
You're at the top of the ladder.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
so
are
we're
at the
down the
top of the
ladder.
ladder.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
so
you
we're
can
talking
go
about how
down.
we would get down to where this guy is down there. All right. So I think Zane probably says, like, I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna try to get him. Dahlia, can you cover me?
Right.
And I think at the same time, Billy remembers something that's in his backpack, and so I spend 2 adversity tokens to be well prepared for this situation. And here's the story of how he has this particular item.
Oh, I love this.
I think I feel like it's important to narrate how this ended up in the backpack. So let me tell the story first. So Dahlia goes with her father to Lower Grape to the comic book store to get magic cards.
Okay. As a reminder to everyone, we live in Middle Grape,
Yes,
Ontario. So this is Lower Grape.
Lower Grape. It's slightly closer to the rest of civilization. There's an actual numbered highway that goes through there. You know.
Whoa.
And so this is something that actually Dahlia got while her dad got, and then they were gonna like do it with Dahlia and Billy and her dad out in the woods one time. They were gonna use this particular item as sort of a science experiment and sort of a thing that you're convincing yourself is a science experiment, because this is a quasi something that is only sold certain times of year in Ontario, which is a firework, and this particular firework emits bright pink smoke, like just immense amounts of pink smoke is all that this does. So he has this in his backpack.
Yes.
That
So like a smoke bomb.
Yeah, like a smoke bomb, but like the fireworks kind.
Yeah.
Not like an assassin kind.
Right. I know what you mean.
recreational, not nerve gas.
Yeah, and not like ninja vanish.
Right.
No, this is the. I don't know, Billy. That is, I don't know if this is the work, but I mean, it'll certainly be a distraction. If he's like, I don't have a lighter, because I'm not allowed to have one. But he has this, so he offers it to the
Group at large.
to the group to see if anyone has a lighter. And if not, I still have 2 more tokens, and he can have an emergency match or something to light it off. But if anybody else has a narrative reason to have a lighter,
I mean,
Zane.
Go ahead.
I mean, Zane might have a lighter because like he's got to be cool, but I mean, I'll leave that up to you know, I can rationalize, I can justify why he might have one because.
Right.
But
well, I know that they had Dahlia had to go with they was lighting up all of the the oil lamps and stuff that they had in their little
Oh, that's true.
hut. So she might have just out of reflex just put it in her bag and so that
Okay, I think that's fair.
So mechanically, I think though, I will spend my other 2 tokens because Billy
Sure.
thought to tell her to do that, and because he's well prepared.
Right.
Just to justify it, so we're not just be like, we
Gotcha,
don't need this
gotcha.
right now.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, so she's like, oh right, and so she sets the crossbow down on the side, and then she starts fishing through. Right, she's like, I've got a lighter.
Okay. He holds onto it, and he's got the lighter, and he says, he looks at everyone, and he said, okay, Dad, you should do it.
Right. Okay.
Because we have an adult now. It
No,
says right on.
Zane
It says
says
right on here you have to be 18 to use these.
Zane says Zane says in a moment of like this is a bonding moment between Zane and Billy, okay? So he says, as he's handing it to him, he stops and he puts his hand on Billy's hands that have the lighter and the smoke bomb on them. And he says, no, Billy, you come with me. He says, I trust you. You can do this.
So then Billy's taking this firework and lighter and going to the top of the ladder with Zane. Is that what you're imagining, Bobby? I'm going over there.
And also if it's right below us, then Zane would probably suggest him. Like if there's no need for Billy to have to go down with him, then he would probably just suggest, I want you to, on my signal, light it and drop it down. But if we have to go down and then go some way, then Zane is in this moment right now where like serious adversity is bringing them all together, and he's like we can do this.
All right. I think that that makes sense to Billy. So I think that okay, it makes a lot of smoke, so yeah, You won't be able to see if I put it there, but maybe
We
you
should
don't
throw
need
it
to.
over there.
Yeah. Okay. So without we have moved over sort of like sneakily to the top of this ladder, which is, I think you said, was a little more out of the way so that we might be able to get down more unseen.
Yeah, it's a little less.
Then Billy's like takes this. I imagine that Dahlia's dad is a Zippo man, not a Bic man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So luckily, those are actually easier for a child to operate. They are not as safe. So he flicks open the top of this thing. And
Is
then,
Billy going to stay at the top of this ladder then?
Yes, he
Okay.
is going to stay at
So
the
Zane
top
says,
and light it, and then
Wait for me.
huck it across.
Well, wait for me to get down, and I'll give you the signal. And when you do, try to get it as close to that guy's feet as you can.
And then he's like pauses for a second. Okay, yeah, we can do it. He's starting like trying to suck in some of Zane's confidence.
So Zane's gonna head down the ladder.
All right.
All right.
Roll flight for me, Zane.
Oh, flight. This is a roll that has not gone well in my past. We're gonna try again. Got a D12 in flight, so there's no reason it should go badly. But that has not stopped me before.
Come on, 25.
9. I'm satisfied with. I'm happy with that. I don't have any adversity tokens to do anything about it, but.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're very silent.
Okay.
Go ahead and describe it.
All right, so he puts the axe somewhere. I guess he puts it into like an open part of his backpack because. I mean, we still all have like rad suits on at this point, don't we? It's not like he can tuck it into his belt. So he like puts it into his backpack. He starts climbing down, and he's looking around and seeing all these grists, like scampering about. Reminds him of like a really gross insect colony, and he pauses for a moment, takes a deep breath, looks up at the cocoon, and then he steels himself, and he goes back and he goes down slowly as he can, and then once he gets down there, he gets just out of sight, like just away from his target, and he pulls the axe back out, and he holds it with two hands, and then he looks up at Billy and thinks, "Oh, we didn't come up with a signal." So he says, so he just waves like this.
All right. Well, that's an obvious signal. So Billy tries to, I think pretty simple to light the fuse on a smoke bomb firework, and then tries to toss it near this contraption and the gentleman operating it.
Okay.
I think
Roll fight for me. Yeah, that seems right.
this is
Oh,
he's
man.
not good at this.
That's
we
a
might remember.
good one. That's a good one.
You can also. Never mind.
Nope, just take. Yep. Just let me take 2 tokens.
Yeah, go ahead and take that token.
Well, these things happen.
Yeah. So you throw it at this guy, and your aim is like perfect.
Oh, no.
Throw it, and it hits like right
Too
above
perfect.
his head. But what you forgot is this weird translucent barrier, and when the smoke bomb hits it, it like boom bounces off in a weird direction, and ding, 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 ding. It's underneath one of the tables of the that's covered in uranium ore, and pink smoke starts to come out from underneath and mingle with the purple portals and starts to fill the room.
Oh, good.
At least it's still a distraction.
It's distracting, all right.
Does quickly Zane is going to curse his brother under his breath, but also he's trying to wait, not very long, but trying to wait to see if that guy that was our target has reacted to that.
Yeah, he is startled and looks up, and then kind of looks around, and he sees Zane out of the corner of his eye, and does a double take, and then looks around for more grists, and he
Attack!
sort of edges.
You know what I'm
edges like
on
back. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to. Is the smoke bomb between us? It's not between us, right?
No, it went in a totally different direction.
Okay.
It bounced off this barrier and went like beyond
Okay.
you.
So yeah, Zane's just going to like panic and then try to rush him, attack him.
You try to attack the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go and roll fight.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm not gonna. I don't feel like this is a protective moment right now, so I'm not gonna add that.
No.
So out of character, I think I know who this person is, and this makes it very funny.
It'll all work out.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Here we go. 6.
So two things happen. You succeed in attacking, but it doesn't go as expected. So I'll let you narrate things, and I'll interrupt you if, yeah.
Well, Zane just panicked. He's trying to stop the person. So he just runs at him and tries to hit him with the axe, like just anywhere on his body.
Right.
And that's. I mean, it's not complicated, So he's just doing that.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So as you go to do this, your hand is stopped in midair by this barrier,
Right.
But the axe goes through and creates a split in the barrier, and then causes it to sort of dissolve.
Mm-hmm.
You see as it sort of like a bubble popping, like.
Right.
And this guy's right here, and he sees you with the axe, and you see like a big plume of pink smoke is going up behind him and starting to spread through the room, and you see at least one grist is kind of looking over there. They do appear to be somewhat distracted, and this guy looks at you and he goes, "Who are you? What's happening?"
I'm here to stop this whole thing.
He says, okay, get in here, go over here,
Right.
get over here, and kind of like gestures you in.
Zane says, "Look, what?"
He says, I don't know what happened. It's just all of a sudden everything went really bright. He's been trying to, and now that his replication is working, I've been slowing it down this whole time, but I wasn't able to do it. And he's kind of like hyperventilating. But now he seems, I don't know what just happened. And he's trying to like flip switches, and you see like it's moving the thick ropes. It's moving them around. He says, and then he looks around and he says, "Get down!" and sort of shoves you down.
Ah!
And there's like a one of the grists kind of walks around, and you're sort of ducked behind this sort of half barrier. You can kind of just see through your rad suit, and he just kind of like nods to him and is going on. Yeah, and then he kind of pulls you up and says, just be careful. I think I can still stop this, but I don't know what that thing is.
You talking about that glowing ball?
Yes. Where did that come from?
That's my friend.
Your friend is
Yes.
a glowing ball. What?
Look, no, my friend's inside the glowing ball. Use your brain.
What the hell are you?
I am going to put an end to this whole thing.
Who's your friend? How did they get inside that ball?
All right. I am really tired of explaining things to adults. All right. Can't you just
He like grabs you by the shoulders and like pulls you up. And he's surprisingly strong for kind of a small guy. He's like,
Yeah.
listen, kid, I need to know who the fuck your friend is.
Calm down.
Dahlia,
Okay.
what is going on
Calm
down there,
down.
I don't know. I think that Zane's gonna get beat up by the guy in the suit.
My friend is who the Grists are looking for, and they
What's your
found her.
friend's name?
Amanda.
And he goes like white. And he says, oh shit. Oh,
Now he's scared.
got her.
I don't know. It's
Wait, what did
Should
he
I
say? What did he
shoot him?
say?
He goes, oh god, they got her. Shit.
You know who she
shit.
is?
Yes! She's my daughter. And he shoves you onto the ground. And he starts like madly flipping switches. And he's like, oh god, I can't reverse it. But if I close everything, then she's not gonna, oh my god. And he's like madly running around and flipping switches. And this pink mist is now like, it's like maybe taking over a third of the room. It's very slow, but you know, you're kind of glad. I think Billy deep down is kind of glad that he didn't show his mom this, because she would have lost her shit. It doesn't matter where he set it off, she would be like, what the hell are you doing?
That is why it was for Dahlia and her dad in the woods.
yeah. And I think too, okay, so I think Mr. Bouchard, he's kind of like stunned by all this, but he's gotten back into the control room. And I think Billy and Dahlia, maybe you're not maybe totally paying attention, but he's fiddling with controls. And you start to see mine carts, empty mine carts coming in, and they start like slamming into each other. And they're like piling up. He's like making a big pile up, a big giant thing of mine carts. And so the Grists are kind of like disoriented, but they keep replicating themselves. They've gone through another replication, so there's now 2 new ones around.
Maybe just should we shoot them or something? I don't know. I don't want more of them.
I mean, like I can only do one at a time.
Oh, at this point, I think Billy notices that you have his BB gun from earlier. It's like one of your many straps.
Right? she's like a soldier.
She's like
And I think okay, well, give me that, and then at least maybe it's kind of like 2, but maybe it won't hurt them. I don't know. And then he tries to like shoot one of the replicating ones.
Okay.
Like while they're like trying to separate, he's like gonna try to shoot that one.
Okay, go ahead and roll fight.
With a BB gun. Yeah.
Oh,
you
Billy.
Hang on. What happens if you tied? You beat me? I can't remember. Because I also rolled a 1.
Oh my god. So why am I so lucky? I do not know that. I will let you. We either have to look at that
I
or
think
recall.
Challenger
You call it.
does, but I don't know for sure.
I should know this.
It doesn't happen often.
Okay. Well, I think for sure, while you look that up, Palmer, for sure, Zane sees this happen. Like there's like you hear a pop and a hit. I think he probably hits something. Palmer, you can tell me what you hit when we find out how this works.
Okay, yeah, I'm having trouble finding it. I don't see any. The word tie didn't give me anything, so give me another couple minutes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. It's one of those things where he's
Greater
like-
than or equal to is how you
like
succeed.
clicks the button.
Okay,
and
yeah,
nothing
so you do
happens,
succeed.
and then it's just like
Hooray.
turn the safety off.
No, I totally shot him. No, I shot the replicating grist. I think you said that earlier. It was narratively established that they are very weak when actually punctured. So I feel as though like he's halfway through dividing into 2, and instead collapses down into like that the same way the other one did.
Mm.
But then also like seems to be not completely destroyed and maybe can reform somehow.
Right. Okay.
So it's like a pile of purplish, whitish goo that like is halfway back into turning into a single grist at least.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that makes sense. And I think what that does is, their attention turns upward, and 2 or 3 of the grists look up and see Billy and Dahlia. A couple of them are attending to this smoke. A couple of them are attending to the mine carts, and one of them is trying to replicate. And none of them are really paying attention to Dr. Cone and Zane at the moment. So 3 of them rise up from the floor, having fully given up the pretense of looking human, and they are approaching Billy and Dahlia.
Whoa.
Zane, you see this happen.
Shoot them.
Yeah.
Dahlia, what do you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, Billy shot one. I'm gonna shoot.
All right, go for it.
Yep. I'm gonna. Yeah. Oh, I don't want those weird things coming at us. Scary.
Roll
Oh,
some fight.
Yes. 5.
5. That will hit.
Yes. All right. I have no idea what like the reaction is to alien biology because it's an alien. What are they like? Do they bleed purple too? I don't know. We're gonna find out. It's like, so yeah, I think the bolt hits it, and yeah, definitely it doesn't like it. It doesn't like it at all. It's very and it kind of like it flops in a weird way that that she feels like maybe she hit something kind of important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah. And I think the one falls back down.
Yeah.
Like it can't sustain its momentum forward when you hit it. But like before, mundane weapons appear not to harm it.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And then I'm
Zane,
gonna try to reload.
Dr. Cone's kind of freaking out, doing his thing, and he turns to you and says, "Wait! How did you break the barrier? What did you use?" And he kind of like is grabbing at you to try to grab whatever it is you use.
Hey, pal, get your hands off me. I'm a kid. I used this axe. I just hit it.
He goes to like take it from you and looks at it.
This is not you. Respect the property, pal.
Would you stop it? My daughter is up there. And
Okay, fair point.
To, yeah, like yanks it out of your hand. He's kind of like looking at it and says, "Oh God, this is from this region. Maybe that's because it's a. Oh, I don't know. Oh my God." And he looks
Billy,
around and he says,
stole the axe. Billy, he stole the magic axe.
"Oh shit."
Just to keep shooting them, and we're like up there trying to make them not come and get us because they're after us.
Yeah.
I start while he's looking at it and doing all that. I look up at them and try to like give them hand signals. I'm like us. I'm pointing to me and Amanda's dad. I say like us. Okay. Amanda. Her dad. That's Amanda's dad.
Zane is having a seizure.
But everything's okay.
Everything is rad.
Yeah.
This is why I told him to learn sign language, but he didn't. He said no.
That was a waste of time. Dr. Cone kind of looks around and he's like, the original. We have to find the original.
My brother
First one,
found that in
which
the woods somewhere.
No, the original thing, the original grist. We have to find the first one.
How?
I don't know.
Okay.
Bow. Okay, so let's go back to Amanda. What is she up to?
Gosh.
I think that she's probably like not viewing this exact moment, but like looking at probably she's managed to focus on this situation, because I commented in our private chat earlier that like as soon as she realized she could see time, she was going to be looking for the future time where she finds her dad, and looking through future times where her dad was, he was right there. And then she's kind of mad because it was like literally he was in the next room. Why did she have to get captured literally one room away? So then it's just like so frustrated, and then so she's kind of watching the ways in which our situation that we are in could unfold, and she knows that she could pop in at the right time, and I'm wondering if maybe
maybe she can sense out the original.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I
an
was
interesting
kinda
thought. Like maybe what's happened is she's noticed that there are a lot of potential ways that this goes. There's a lot of grists out there, and in a lot of these ways, Zane and what's his name, Dr. Cohn?
Yeah.
They like in some they attack this grist and nothing happens. In another one, they attack this one and nothing happens. But there's one of these potential outcomes where that's different, where they do the same thing as they've done in all the other ones, except it's one of the grists and something important does happen. And that's like, again, she's super, like she's really intelligent. That's one of her aspects. And I think like it occurs to her like there's something special about that one.
And I think this one has two reasons it's special. One, because it's the one that essentially saves Middle Grave and possibly the world, because it's kind of fuzzy beyond that what happens. To keep this energy drain from exploding outward.
Right, because you said that she noticed there are a lot of these trails and pathways that just end, right?
Yeah. And I think that this one has something really, it has that excellent outcome, and also something very tragic that happens that causes her to hesitate.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Maybe we'll marinate on that one for a minute.
Yeah.
And go back to our high energy room. At this moment, Mr. Bouchard kicks open the door of his control room, seeing these two grists approach on his youngest son, and he's got a crowbar in his hand, and he's gonna. Your dad's a big guy. He's a big old French Canadian dude.
Yeah. He's an engineer.
Yeah.
But in a very I work in an active mine kind of way.
His ancestors were lumberjacks in northern Quebec. So this guy's a big ass dude, and he's gonna go and swing this crowbar at an approaching grist.
What was his name again?
Gerard Bouchard.
Gerard Bouchard. I love it.
Gerard, yeah.
Gerard
That's-
Bouchard.
I was kind of hoping it was
his
like
father
Jean
said it.
or Jacques.
Oh man, and he's his father spoke like this all the time.
Yeah. I was gonna go for it, but I'm so bad at accents. I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna.
Quebecois I
insult
can do
the
most of the
Canadians.
time.
You do well. So he takes this crowbar and just there's a grist that's kind of like approaching Billy and putting his hand forward, and he just and slams it with a French curse down on the back of his neck. And the grist sort of like it's just like flattened like boom on the ground. And the indecisive Mr. Bouchard is gone. He is very, very angry.
I'm telling you, the
pulls back
Bouchards are a warrior clan.
It's true.
We get it
it's that-
honestly.
The French Canadian comes out once in a while.
Yes, his ancestors chopping wood. That it's ingrained in his DNA. So he and smacks him down right in front of you, and sort of like pushes him aside.
Right.
Okay. What do you want to do at this point? You don't know which grist to kill. You know what you need to do, but hard to tell which one it is.
Gosh.
I feel like the linchpin to this is that Amanda needs to indicate which is the correct one. And I have a visual in my mind, like a cinematic, at least partially because she's just 15, and kids are weird sometimes, but like of her portaling back in like behind the guy and like basically like clutching on his back, so that Zane or her dad or whoever can like just charge up and take out that one. But what is the tragedy that happens? And this is I've been trying to imagine is like there's some cost, and I feel as though it's someone else in this room is going to have a bad time, but I don't know who that should be.
That's right. Well, let's see what happens. So Zane, I know, would say to the doctor, would say to Amanda's dad, say, "Look, I don't know how we're gonna find out who this guy is, but what I do know is that if we don't, Amanda's gonna die. This mine is gonna turn into a crazy, interdimensional alien birthplace, and probably the world's gonna end. So, if we can't figure it out, then we're just gonna have to do this the hard way." And
he nods. He's like, "Well, I guess just pick one then." And kind of looks around. There's one that's fallen down. 2 are up with your friends. 2 are over the carts. A couple are trying to smother this pink smoke because it's making it hard to see. And there's a couple just not accounted for.
Yeah.
Because it's very smoky in here, half full.
I think Zane would just look at the one closest to them and go, "Let's start there."
I mean, out of character, yeah. I mean, the likelihood of something bad happening if they try to kill them all is high, but we have no other.
Yeah, Zane doesn't have any.
Zane doesn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Zane's not a smart guy. He's not a dumb guy, but he's definitely an action guy. Like, let's do something.
And I think too, you don't have this only Amanda is able to make this choice, and she can see everybody is struggling through these different choices, and she sees kind of the end result. So it's ultimately up to her to choose when she intervenes, at which point. So if Zane goes ahead with his attack, we could assume that that's she's allowed it to happen essentially.
Ultimately, this is a mechanical question, out of character. Ultimately, Cassie or Dahlia is in control of that power, right? So Dahlia, if we're talking mechanically,
I am. Yep,
Cassie,
okay.
you're kind of the one who is
Gotcha.
responsible for making that choice, I think.
So
I'm not trying to force your hand this very
no.
second.
For sure.
I'm just,
and if you want to, you can just say, yeah, go ahead with the attack kind of thing.
I think to go ahead with the attacks, because she has all things, but the idea probably hasn't completely coalesced yet as far as what she would do until she starts seeing you guys trying to pick off one at a time. So yeah,
Right.
I think that starting the process, she should be able to connect all of the dots.
Right.
And the threads of time.
It eliminates a few options.
Mhm.
Okay, so go ahead and roll brawn, Zane. I mean, fight.
Fight. Okay, yeah. So Zane's like that guy and grabs the axe. And fight.
Fight.
Oh god, I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Take an adversity token. You're no
Thanks.
Billy.
Thanks.
Billy's so lucky. So,
Oh my god, I have a 10 in fight.
you do. Yeah, I rolled an 8.
Oh gosh, this wasn't gonna end well no matter what. It's okay. I don't feel too bad now.
So the guy, you like make your like Tarzan yell again, go to hit him, and he, what's he gonna do? So Grist, as you're going for it, he turns around and just in time grabs your wrist, and you feel like a burning sensation from your fingertips all the way to your elbow, and you look and see as your hand goes black, just like Amanda's does when she uses her power, and you involuntarily drop the axe. It's on the floor. And the searing pain is shooting up your arm, as it almost feels like it's blackening and blistering and burning.
Okay, quick question. How tall is the ladder next to where we are?
So it's about this 1 story up, like, so maybe 12 feet, 3 meters.
Okay. We're trying to formulate how this end game is going to go. And I have an idea for how this narration can go, because the axe just got dropped, so that's good timing.
Yeah.
I think, Cassie, I think right now is or in a minute, is the time for Amanda to act.
For sure.
Dad, what's his name?
Gerard.
Gerard Bouchard. He's whacking these guys with a crowbar, and Billy like has given up on trying to shoot these guys with BB guns, so he's just also like trying to push them off this ledge. And Dahlia, we're all 3 of us are just kind of trying to push them off. And Dad sees Zane going after this one guy, and then get hurt and drop this weapon, which has seemed to be more effective than everything else so far. And I think he also got part of that story where there's a little indication about the importance of that. So he actually, channeling his ancestors, he just jumps jumps on the ladder and slides down it, because this is his place. So he does the slide. He slides down and he's going over to take this guy out who just hurt his son, right? And and Dahlia, or I can't control Dahlia.
That's okay.
Billy's immediately following as well.
Yeah, and then Dahlia sees him going, and then I'm not staying up here by myself, so.
And if I can continue to control Dad, he runs over and he scoops up the hand axe. And what do you think, Cassie?
Ooh, so yeah, I think that she sees that Zane in serious trouble, and so at this point, she sees it's on the ground. She sees Zane. He's could possibly be torn into nothing in a matter of seconds, and she has to act now because she needs to save her friend. And so she focuses on the thread that is the one that kind of is holding all of these timelines together, and she focuses in and she uses her ability to come in and basically tackle the true Inspector Grist.
So she so Mr. Bouchard has the axe.
Yes. He has just scooped it up. Is mid motion when this happened.
So how does Amanda get it? Like does she grab it from him? Does she? What does she?
I think more along the lines of she's subduing the one who needs to be taken out to make it easier for the person who picks up the axe, which is with their dad. And maybe,
maybe she's screaming at this point, like
Yep, right.
kill him. This is the one. Just end this, and something like that.
Yeah.
So this is an intense moment as the cocoon sort of like unravels and falls in lit threads all down. I mean, she sort of almost floats down to the right one, and like you said, screaming the whole way. And she's like buried in pink mist, as she grabs onto this guy and screams at Mr. Bouchard.
He's already like he's got to protect his kids. He's turned into this this Papa Bear, and is just like immediately focuses. He doesn't really. He kind of was like, okay, there's this Amanda person who's turned into this egg, and whatever. He doesn't no time for thinking. He's got this axe, and he comes over and just right in the center of like where the sternum would be if this was a person. Just and we mentioned big guy. He swings it so hard, like his hand goes into this thing, and we've been talking about this in the background, and I'll let you, Scrim, decide what the final result of this is. But this grist turns purple. His whole just turns into the purple ball, and then sort of not implodes, but like like a star does right before it goes nova, collapses into like something a little bit smaller and more dense, and then it's going to explode.
So I think we'll take a step back there. We're gonna make this a dice roll because I've scattered out Gerard
nice.
and Inspector
Okay,
Grist.
let's roll it.
So why don't you roll a d12 for me, Hammer?
I will do that. I have grit at D12, so it will show up as a grit.
Okay.
Hey,
Great.
I'll
Awesome.
take it.
And you know what? Actually, I just realized we have to back up even further.
Oh,
Because
what did I-
Amanda used a supernatural
she's
power.
Power.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's. I love this cinematic moment, but we got ahead of
sorry
ourselves.
about
We're too
that.
excited. Totally fine. Totally fine.
All right.
Cassie, can you roll? So you spend 1. She's down to 3.
Yep.
You roll 2d4.
Yep.
Yes.
Ooh, 7, nice.
Fuck yes. Ah. Man,
Okay.
she's on point.
Pretty good.
Beautiful. Wow, you guys are lucky. So so she's like, she does her thing, floats on down. Gerard is running, like sprinting and bellowing, and he goes and he reaches to sink the axe in. And just before he does that, every single one of the grists lets out this like deep, unearthly scream, that horrible noise that you've been hearing, and they just rush at him and mob him as he does this. So there are 7 others that are rushing to attack him. He has a brawn of D20, so
Yikes.
it would be very, very difficult. I have a DC in my mind. It would be very, very difficult for him to survive this. This is not a planned action, so you can't spend adversity tokens on it. But if you could roll a d20 for Mr. Bouchard.
Let's see. Bob, you roll this one.
All right.
Cassie and I rolled the last 2 stress rolls.
I'm very stressed right now.
Yeah. Hey, it's it's okay. Here we go. I haven't rolled well all night.
We do.
12.
12.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he slams the axe into this guy's chest, but not before the other grists come in and they start. It's not so much that they're hitting him; they're almost like pushing through him, because they start to dissolve into these purple balls, and they push like their pseudopods through him, and he's like racked with purple electricity, and you can see his like the fury in his eyes as he shoves this axe down deeper into this guy's chest, and as it implodes into this tiny pinprick, and then boom, explodes outward. Amanda is thrown back, and your dad collapses to the ground. And the rest of the room is cleared out. That purple light sort of sucks into nothingness, and the pink mist is starting to dissipate through the room.
Is it quiet now? I mean,
yeah, it's quiet.
Okay.
It's unearthly quiet.
Except for Zane's and probably Billy's like yelling, like you
Yes,
know,
that is
Like screaming.
yeah,
uh,
like no, you know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And Zane's probably rushed up to his dad at this point, and kind of knowing that there's probably no good outcome to what just happened, but saying, you know, like what, you know, basically as checking out the situation, you know, like,
Yeah.
but in a frantic way, you know, like it's not a measured sort of reaction, so.
So the two of you are leaning over your dad, who's not moving, and Dr. Cone runs past you. He barely notices and is going to Amanda, who's just barely conscious at the other side of the room. Yeah, you I think Dahlia's kind of taking everything in. What's Dahlia's reaction?
She's so like she watched this happen. She watched this man who, you know, in all of the time that she's known this man, he is just now, he's always been like this laid back, you know, kind of absent-minded dude.
Mhm.
Like, you know, like
Billy Senior.
yeah, who's not even more so. At least, you know, like Billy gets hyper focused sometimes, but you know, his dad, like, she's never seen that from him, and so, you know, like, and he kind of somewhat indecisive in the house there, and so, you know, and he's just like, oh, it's you again, you know, like expects her to be there all the time, and he's a really nice guy, and like, but this is like the first time that she's ever seen an adult be like outside of movies, like being that hero person that, like, you know, you kind of, that she, you know, she looks up to her dad a whole lot, and she feels like her dad would have done the same thing, but she would have never thought that Mr. Bouchard had it in him to do that. And so she's completely stunned, and you know, she, like the world for her kind of closes in very small, as, like, you know, she's kind of hears their shouts and Billy's like shriek of, like, you know, like terror as he's like running to his dad, and she's, you know, so she's like, you know, like she's one of those things where she drops what she has, and she's just kind of standing there like, oh my god, and then the only other thing that crosses through her mind is like, oh, what about Mrs. Bouchard? And so
Amanda kind of, she stands up with her dad's help, and she sees the scene in front of her, and she walks over to Dahlia and puts her arm around her, and just kind of stands there. She doesn't really know what to do or say, and she doesn't feel like she has any business talking to either Billy or Zane.
So she's like, she's got her arm around Dahlia, and Dahlia's now hyperventilating. She's not in a good place. She's like, we need to go check on Miss Bouchard. We need to go check right now.
I think so there's I imagine there's a lot of commotion and a lot of stuff going on, things moving around, in a big sort of like somewhat of an explosion thing that happened. It's probably not like a safe place to be right now.
Yeah, so Dahlia's already leaving because now she's absolutely desperate to make sure that their mom is alive. Like,
yeah. I think Amanda probably understands this in that moment that Dahlia's right. Also, this is a very unsafe place. And Billy and Zane are like I imagine them both in sort of like one of these like the reality's sunk in and they're in sort of a desperate sort of, but like it's all happening and they're all very, the two of them are clinging to each other. I think Amanda, you know, knows she has to do this, so she comes up and puts her hand on, you know, Zane or Billy or whoever's, probably Zane who's larger, puts her hand on his shoulder and says, "We've got to go," and opens up a portal for them right there, so that they can just quickly get out of there. So that, because, you know, they're not in a state to climb ladders and trek all the way back through this mine and whatnot. So yeah, knowing that they're not really in a state right now to make decisions like that, she knows she has to make that decision for them.
Yeah, I think, but like up until that point, it's Billy is sort of like looking for any shred of hope, and you know, it starts off, it starts off like trying to get out the crummy little first aid kit, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, is he? I think then it's just sort of this shock sets in, and it's like what even happened, you know?
Yeah.
Do you go through the portal?
I imagine that with whatever capability Amanda has, she's trying to limit their ability to either have to make that choice. You know, like she I think in that moment she feels like they shouldn't have to make that choice, and she's gonna put it on herself to sort of like to remove them from this dangerous place right now, because that's just what has to be done, you know, like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that, like, you know, Dahlia is realizing, like, she was about to run back to the ladder and start climbing up before, you know, Amanda, like, caught her arm and like, you know, starts to make the portal. And so, you know, she reaches out for Zane, and Billy's just down there, like, with his little first aid kit, and just kind of like leaning over his dad, not knowing where to start because there's nowhere to start. And so she's gonna like grab his like, you know, like grab his hand, both of them, and just kind of like drag him towards the portal to get him out of there.
Yeah, and maybe Zane is gonna go as well, but he, like, choking back emotion, he grabs Amanda's dad, like, by the arm, maybe as he's about to go through the portal, and he turns around and he says, you know, "Help me carry him."
Yeah, Billy was like, I was about to, if you hadn't have done that, it would have been like, no, we can't leave him here.
Yeah.
Well, in Zane's
like,
mind, like, almost like the last thing, like, in his stupid, heroic, dumb moment, when the last thing he said to his mom was that he was going to save his dad, you know, so, like, he's not coming back without him, you know, so.
So Amanda, she sets up the portal, and she watches everybody go through, and steps through last, closing it behind her, and you're back in your house. The door is still wide open. Things are kind of all over the place. The TV's still on. And Amanda is absolutely destroyed with guilt. She made this choice. Was it the best one? Like, she'll probably question that the rest of her life. But
sure, yeah.
she's got this mixture of relief and um, just bottomless guilt. Relief at her dad, seeing her dad again, and bottomless guilt at her role in this responsibility in this turn of events. So I think, unless anybody has anything else, any other moments they want to process here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you go first.
No, I feel as though I can't
So like,
effectively process. I'm happy to fade on that from me.
yeah, I think that like really the biggest thing, because Dahlia's thinking we'll be going out to the front yard thing so we can like get his mom and go, and then we come back to the house. She's like completely like she doesn't cry in front of people, and she doesn't freak out in front of people. But has a complete meltdown and like yelling at Amanda to take them back to the parking lot. We have to make sure that their mom is okay. They need to have one parent, and just it's like so she's just like she's so angry, and she's taking it out on Amanda when she probably shouldn't. But she's desperate to make sure that we can help their mom. Like, losing her goddamn mind. As an 11-year-old does.
Yeah.
She's like...
And Amanda brings you back. You get your mom. You drive her home. Deliver the news. And the next week is difficult, to say the least. It's hard to explain what happened. It's hard to process that this is real. Amanda and her dad stay with her aunt and uncle for a while. Mm-hmm. And her mom comes up from Toronto. There's sort of a they kind of fade into the background of your life for the next week or so. But I think that Amanda checks in every day. She's always coming in. I think Mr. Kenny comes with Dahlia as well, as your mom's recovering from her leg injury. He's bringing food and fresh kills and stuff like that.
They do that in Canada too. When someone dies, everyone makes food.
Yeah.
yeah, they do that here too.
Traditional is the frozen lasagna.
Right.
At least in my hometown. I think that yeah. Oh man. I think Billy he goes even more into himself than before. Mm-hmm. Like if anybody were to sort of think about it, maybe he hasn't even said anything for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. Not like he's struck mute or anything, but he's just sort of so numbed by everything that he's just can't even interact with another human being in a meaningful way. So he's just sort of like sits on his bed looking at the wall. People are trying to do something that no one can do in this situation, which is say something.
Yeah.
And he's just like sort of not. I don't know. He just is shut off for that time.
Like Dahlia sees what's happening, and she knows exactly what's happening, and she's so like she wants to help, but she knows that she can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And so she goes and she hangs out with him in his room. She doesn't necessarily try to get him to get in the conversation. She just she'll hang out and she'll play video games.
That's what I was imagining. What would a kid do? Yeah.
And leave the other controller available if he felt like playing, and then like she knows that he really likes the Lord of the Rings, and so she picks up this book and she tries so hard to read it, and then it gets to the Elvish, like read it out loud, and so so she's and she stumbles over a lot of it, and she likes fantasy, but she's never really read a book like that has so many foreign words. And I imagine like every once in a like Billy will be like, no, it's pronounced this.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
I think that process is like what helps him sort of begin to figure out like what kind of how to process through all this stuff. Like the things can basically an 11-year-old man, like the heroic narrative can really like help you frame things, especially when literally his dad was a hero. So I think that sort of is what helps him start to get back to normal as we move to the Fade to Black here.
What about Zane? How's Zane doing?
He's trying to be as put together as he can for his brother.
And for his mom. Oh,
right,
fuck.
Right. There's a lot going on, and being the protective kind of person that he is, that's sort of, I think that instinct kind of transmutes itself into sort of like taking care of things, but not in like ignoring it kind of way. So he doesn't go out a whole lot. He's similar, he's processing all this. There's certainly a lot of mourning that's going on, but and he doesn't socialize a lot, which is very different for him. But when Amanda comes over and checks in, they've aside from his feelings that were developing for Amanda, that's beside the point right now, but she went through all this with them.
Yeah, shared trauma is
so there's a lot of like she's the one person I think that he accepts into the home, and but he doesn't do what he normally does. He's lets his I think that's in those moments when she is around and they're sitting maybe by themselves or whatever it is, that's when he lets his guard down. And I wouldn't say like he's like emotionally lost, loses himself or anything, but that's when he like, any other moment he's got his I've got stuff to do face on, like, okay, Billy, let's make sure we're doing this and that, and we've got hey, here's some food,
and clean,
like, and he's just got like, we've got stuff to do kind of in that kind of mode. Hey mom, is there anything I can do? Can I go run some errands? That kind of thing, but when Amanda's over and they're like sitting on the back porch or in the living room with the TV on and nobody's around, that's when he kind of like, he can take a breath and he just like allows himself to, relax and be in the moment, and I think he comes to really appreciate those moments that she's over because of that.
Like that's the only time where he feels he can be vulnerable.
Right. And acknowledge what's happening rather than trying to put on that like, okay, things have to get done. I'm the one who has to do it. So let me ignore this for a moment and get the things done,
You okay, Cassie? Do you need to take a minute?
I'm good.
Good? All right.
Everything's fine.
I always do this too. So I think Amanda is like I said, she feels just like unbelievably guilty, and but I don't think that's why she's coming by. I think she's coming by because of that bond you've all shared. And
Well, we've established already that she's very if we want to get mechanical about it, which I know we're not trying to be right now, but she's literally like developed a sort of bond with Zane, so that makes sense, you know.
Yeah. So I think I'd like to wrap up with one of those moments on the porch when Billy and Dahlia is this sort of a rare sighting of Billy. And maybe not porch since it's still December. But you're in maybe in Zane's room. And this is something your mother would never have even considered allowing before, but has become a little let things slide a little. And she's downstairs with Mr. Kenny, and he's kind of helping her out around the kitchen. And the four of you are in Zane's room at the moment. What are you? What does that look like? Are you discussing something serious? Are you trying to bring some levity and talk about something else?
I feel like we're playing a board game.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yes.
And
Amanda chose the game.
I feel like the whole situation was so complex, especially like Billy is not exactly 100% sure how to relate to Amanda now. Now that things aren't so charged, so he's sort of like still like reverted back into his shell a little bit. But what game were you playing, Zane?
We're playing.
Wait, did Amanda pick? If Amanda picked, it's Trivial Pursuit.
Yes.
Sure.
Right?
I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like also Zane probably is the one who told Billy he needed to come and hang out. Like,
well, if it's Trivial Pursuit, I mean, Billy also likes Trivial Pursuit.
maybe that's
Billy,
how
Billy
they
thinks
convinced
he
him.
has a chance.
He's at this point in the game. They've been playing for a little bit and sort of not talking about anything except for, hey, we're playing the game. And both Billy and Amanda have all of the color of pies except for pink and orange.
Pink and orange. Oh, because that's entertainment and sports and leisure, right?
Correct.
And she's reading this. She's like, "Who the hell knows who W.C. Fields is? I don't know what this is."
Like Billy's just hoping that eventually they get to. Once in a while, you get one that's a like a Shakespeare question or something.
Yeah. Also, those are the only pie colors that Zane does have.
And I
told you we should have played on a team, Zane.
And I'm doing, and I'm doing this now for our as players. I think we need this levity at this point as well.
Yeah, sure.
So I think like we're sort of just playing, and we're. I think as we're playing through this, we're not talking about anything, and Billy is starting to realize that it doesn't have to be weird. Like a bunch of stuff happened, and I think that's he sort of says to everyone like, this is good. Like I know like a bunch of stuff happened, but. Like, this is still good, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm totally gonna win this.
You always win.
Like, I don't even stand a chance. Look at it. I have nothing. Nothing.
Oh, shit. This next question is baseball stats from the 1960s. He's definitely going to win this one.
Why I don't know that?
I'm surprised you haven't memorized all of the cards already. This is your game.
And he's sort of like, I should. I should memorize stupid sports ones. There's only so many.
So I think for a minute we play again for a minute, and Zane says, so what do you think we're gonna say to people when school starts back up again after Christmas break?
Well, I'm not saying anything because the last thing I need is people to be coming at me being like, oh, you took out a bear. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I do not need that kind of attention.
You took out a bear?
That gets
A long story that I don't like hearing.
I think that's a laugh from Billy. Finally gets to first laugh in like weeks at this point, you know. And then I think if everyone else is okay with it, I think that this is a perfect fade. Is Billy telling this story to Amanda
Of
the time when his best friend punched a bear in the face.
And then the parts
and
where
Zane
he
looked silly.
Yeah, and at the parts where he talks about how Zane looked like a doofus, he's like, you know, there's like the, you know, he's punching his brother in the arm and like, ah!
And Amanda's like, oh, really? Like raising her eyebrows, looking at Zane. She's like, oh, so you saved them from the ferocious bear spray. What a hero.
And are my fellow players, and does that seems like a good.
Yeah, that feels
I
like a
like
good
it.
ending point. Yeah.
I feel like it was a great beginning point at the pregame and a great ending point in the real game. I think it's great. I think it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that Amanda kind of drops after the story is finished. She says, "So, we're moving here. My parents
Really?
are moving here.
You're moving here? Like, you're gonna stay here?
Yeah. I guess Dad has a job with the mining company of some kind. He doesn't really want to go back to U of T. I think he's taking some time off, but yeah, they're looking for a house. So
that's cool.
so you're all stuck with me.
Does that mean you'll take me to the Rage Against the Machine when they come to anywhere close to here at all?
Toronto, you mean?
Yeah, that one.
I don't think they let 11-year-olds in to those concerts, Dahlia.
You don't know.
Eh.
I got in when I was 13 to
See?
Nine Inch Nails, so it's fine. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. I know some people.
Well, that's awesome.
Yay!
I'm happy.
Okay. All right. See you guys.
Oh man, and then we can just go, and then we're there at their place, and then we don't even have to drive a car. It'll be so cool.
I'll walk you home.
Yeah, I don't know if I really want to. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we can just. Maybe my dad can just drive me.
Yeah, I figure that like her blunt attitude was just
Yeah. She's like,
be like, yeah, it'll be great.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm talking about that right now.
I forgot. I was about to say, can we make your new flaw a lack of tact? But I forgot you have blunt as a flaw.
Blunt, yes.
Yeah. Tactless.
But yeah. Dahlia's not saying anything about it, like what happened. It to what happened there.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. I think she's pretty oblivious to the possible impact that would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I should get going home. So, see you guys later. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
And she heads out.
I saw your face, Zane. I saw your face, Zane. You like Amanda. You like Amanda.
Shut up!
I love
And
it.
yeah, I think that's a good ending point.
It fades out to Zane in his room, regretting not giving Amanda the Christmas present he got her.
Oh my gosh, that's so precious.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
He got too
All right.
nervous.
Oh, maybe we'll get a
I-
chance another time.
Maybe.
Oh,
All right.
that was super intense.
That
But
was,
also,
You guys okay?
like,
Yes,
also my
I'm
favorite thing
alright.
ever.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, so oh, there we go. Music change.
There we go. That's a little happier.
I believe that I don't. Everyone who knows that we have another session next week might be confused.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's true.
That's a good point. We're losing Palmer next week, so we wanted to wrap up this arc. And then next week we've got
Billy goes to science camp.
Oh, he's like a counselor.
So to talk about next week real quick before we have to go. We're still having another session on Tuesday. It'll be me and Cassie and Scrim will be here.
Mhm.
Is it? We don't. I guess we haven't talked in detail, but I imagine it'll be some sort of an epilogue of sorts, or is it going to be something else?
A tiny adventure.
Don't know. It will.
There'll be some adventuring, I'm sure, and I think it'll be after the events of this arc.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I look forward to it. Palmer, we're bummed that you won't be here, but
Yeah.
but who knows? Who knows? Maybe Billy and Zane will have some fun again in the future sometime, and with Dahlia and maybe everyone else will get to see it too. So who knows?
Who knows?
Thank you for everybody watching live, as well as anybody who's watching after the fact. I'm going to go around real quick and just say goodbye. My name's Bobby, and you can catch me here, and I'm on Twitter at GMFunkyTown. Next week we've got this, but we've also got on, I think our last session of, I guess this will benefit anybody who sees this beforehand, but on our last session of Leverage is next week.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yep.
So Leverage on the 16th of March, but then on the 17th, or night after, one more session of this. So
We're back again.
yeah, and Cassie, tell everybody where they can find you real fast.
Oh my gosh. So you can find me over on Original Box Set. And we do lots of gaming and stuff over there. And this Friday evening, we're gonna be playing Star Wars. I'm so excited because Star Wars is my favorite. And and you can we don't have a time yet. It's basically whenever John gets home, and then we'll probably have dinner and then go do Star Wars.
So what people
that's
need
the
to
plan.
do is go over to twitch.tv/originalboxset,
That's
right? And just
That's
click the
true.
follow button so that they'll be
Follow.
notified when you do start.
Yes, and we also have a Discord that we announce things in on occasion. Well, actually, every time we do announce them. But anyway, I'm not fast enough. But I also make soap. I make really cool soap. And, in this current environment that we're living in right
You need soap.
Um,
Everyone in the world needs soap right now.
You have to come by right now.
You gotta wash your hands, people. And guess what? I have stuff you can wash your hands with.
It's very funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Do it. Here, I'll even put a link in our little chatty thing here. So you
Anyone
can
watching this on YouTube like a year from now is like,
it's purealchemysoaps.etsy.com. I'll still be around a year from now. Hopefully you will be too. Huh.
Your chances of being around are higher but if you buy the soap.
And that's a universal truth.
Yeah. What about you, Palmer? How's it going?
Oh man, I have been and will probably continue to be Palmer. You can find me producing Radio Free Detroit with Ziggy the Troll, Shadowrunning Philosopher, and the best place to follow is on Twitter at Ziggy the Troll SR.
Cool. And last but not least, certainly not least, Scrim, how's it going?
It's good. Yeah, I'm leverage. I do this fabulous show for one more week. It'll be cool to kind of see where we end up.
Yeah.
So it's fun to get a chance to really, work out with some characters. But yeah, that's really it for me. So.
All over the network. So we're always doing stuff, so stick around. So yeah, follow us. If you're watching live, then you're here already. Click the follow button. But if not, you can find us twitch.tv/ShadowcastersNetwork. If you're watching on YouTube, then if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. And yeah, that's it.
Yay, all right.
We will be back next week on Tuesday for some more The Adventures of Zane and Dahlia. and
It'll be great.
I look forward to it. So thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.